Hey, everybody. What is up? What is up? What is up? Just got here just in time for the stream. What's up, Chris? Good to see you, brother. Let's see. Haisa. Yo, mate, 4 a.m. here. Would be nice to find a way to integrate more inner use to in a tribe. Yeah, sorry, brother. I can't do it. You'll have to watch it the next day. I can't. Otherwise, what would I do? I could do it in the mornings, but if I do it in the mornings here, I mean, nobody's going to watch. I mean, everybody's working or doing whatever. So, uh, unless I do Sunday mornings, but then people are at church Saturday mornings. People are hungover. And the last thing I want to do in the morning is work. But yeah, who knows? I'm sorry, man. If I figure it out, I'll let you know. Yo, Mike, what up, Jason? How are you, brother? Good to see you, man. Or good to hear you. Johnson Robinson. Yo, Black Sheep in the house. You know it, brother. Black Sheep in the house. We will let it chock full of a few more humans. Who knows what this is? Who knows what this shirt is? Let's see who the first one is to name the album. Or actually, yeah, to name the album. Let's see if you can name it. Neil from Toronto. Thanks, Neil. Neil invited me up to Toronto. Him and his buddy Alex are going to take me out to eat. They said they would take me out for some killer food when I go visit Toronto, so I'm excited for that. As you guys know, I love to eat. Whoops. Okay, I don't know what that was. As you know, I do love to chow down. Well, it's just for me, it's fun. It's breaking bread with other people. I like to sit and it's really because everybody slows down and you can have some conversations. So I tend to like that. It's cool. Yeah, so let's see. We're getting 48. We're gonna stack up here little by little. Let some people jump on with us tonight. We're going to talk about speakers. What I want to talk and really, it's just because I've been having so many people over listening to speakers, and the Fisher and Fisher are blowing so many people away. They're buying them on the spot. Today I sold the 570s on the spot. The guy came and said, "I'll take them." And I'm like, really? I'm like, okay. It's actually perfect timing because I just got excuse me, I just got the 1000.1s. They're sitting on the driveway right now. So here we go. See, non-alcoholic. That's my shit right there. Anyways, yeah, so I have two huge crates, giant crates, taller than the car, that are sitting out in the driveway getting ready, and we're going to unload them, and I'll have the only pair of 1000.1s in the United States will be the Hi-Fi Tribe and at my crib, and any of you guys can come and listen to them, or gals. Oh, Jason White got it. It's a Dead album, except you're really close. It's a Jerry Garcia Band album, Cats Under the Stars. I'm pretty sure. Now, if you prove me wrong on that one, did you use AI to look it up, Jason? I gotta ask these guys. These guys are sharp dudes, man. Y'all are sharper than I am. Yeah, it was. It is. Okay, so I was right. Let's see if we can get the focus on that. It's Jerry Garcia Band, Cats Under the Stars. So anyways, close, very close. Same guitarist. Oh, okay, let me get back up in here. Drago checking in from Kleckner Lake House at MM6, Lake of the Ozarks. Cool, man. That sounds nice. Sounds like you're probably smoking some stogies out there for sure. I had such a vacation in Europe. Yes, you are right, man. I will make a video about it when I have the time to. Probably gonna hire somebody to do that shit because there's so many pictures. and I will make it and put it on my other channel. You guys know that I have OCD Mikey channel. Just find OCD Mikey on YouTube and sign up for that. And I've got another channel where I do stuff that's not audio related, because non-audio related stuff kind of creeps into this channel. And I've realized, I've got to kind of, if I want to do a long video, I can do shorts and put them on this channel. But if I do a long video about travel or something like that, or food or guns or whatever, I'll have to put them on a different channel. So, yeah, the trip was phenomenal. Speakers are my specialty. Yeah, and stone speakers are your specialty. I wasn't talking about the stream itself, but rather about the tribe as a movement. Oh, well, yeah, we've got something. Where are you, in Melbourne? Are you in Geelong? We've got somebody in Geelong and Melbourne as well, both. And they both are, well, one guy actually has a store, Martin, so there are tribe members absolutely down in Australia. It's funny, around the world, the different areas that really like Mikey are areas that are straight and direct in their culture. If they are straight and direct and they're no nonsense, no bullshit people, I have pockets of tribe in those areas, because they see past, they appreciate my directness. Other people, maybe in some of the, I actually have a pocket in Norway, but generally speaking, I think in the countries where they like politeness and they're kind of like soft, those I don't really pick up there, man. People can't get past my projection of my voice or something. Maybe having a small sub department of the tribe, organizing listening sessions and all that, but in alignment with the OG tribe way of doing things. Well, yeah, absolutely. Heisa, just contact me. I've already got, there's already a network across the globe. And if you want to be part of it, you just email me at 11 Stereo and we can bring you in on the fold for sure. Philip here from thanks for the grounding information. Bought a Puritan Labs 156 and Groundmaster and 2 8-foot grounding rods in my system. Has never sounded better. Cool, man. Awesome. It's good stuff. Those speakers were killer. They are, Chris. They're really, really sweet. Chris is talking about the 570s. He was here for the Fisher & Fisher SN 570. And let's put it this way. The 570 sounded so good and so close in imaging. What it was doing in imaging was so close to my big panels that I said, okay, I'm getting the big ones and I'm going to get rid of the panels. Like, it was enough to make me say, if the 570 is doing this good, in a weird way, the 770 didn't sound as good as the 570s do, the way I have them set up. What I realize now is the 770s, I didn't have them properly set up in the room because I was trying to keep the front baffle. I was trying to keep them in relation with the other, my flat panels. Now I'm taking the flat panels out, so I'll be able to move these around and get them exactly where I want them. But yeah, they were great, man. And for 25 grand, it's a phenomenal deal. So this is a speaker, you guys that don't know. See if I can just pull it up to show people. This is a speaker that is, here it is. And it's really, this is like it's hard to tell from this photo, but you can see, get back a little bit, and it's weird how this thing focuses. Anyways, it's got dual 7.5s, oopsie, on each side there. So those they're close to, it's Europe, whatever, version of 8-inch driver. And then 2 6.5s up here, mid-ranges, an AMT tweeter right there, all stone. They're over 4 foot tall, or maybe they are about 4 foot. 300 pounds a piece, and the things are as good as any $45,000 speaker. It is a $45,000 speaker. If it were Magical, if it were Rockport, if it were any of those other brands, Wilson, YG Acoustics, any of those other brands that are popular brands, this would be a $45,000 speaker, but it's not. It's 25. Why? Because two things. First of all, when you buy from me, okay, let me explain a little something about how distribution works, okay, and how markup works. Okay, so any distributor, they call themselves distributor, that sells to another to other dealers. Okay, there's distributors out there that bring in stuff, they sell it direct, and they sell to other dealers to sell. What happens is they get their price. Okay, I get my price, my import price. Then what I do is I tack 30 points on top of that price, and then I sell it to my dealer at a 30% profit. That dealer then either doubles it or puts 40 points, depending on what kind of product it is, and they mark it up even more. Okay, so by the time you've got it, you're paying me, the distributor, the middleman, 30 points. Okay, so when I'm the distributor, like with Fisher and Fisher, and when I sign legal agreements, contracts with them, where I'm the only distributor for North America, okay, I have a choice. I can either mark it up 30 points and sell it to somebody else, a dealer that is going to sell it to you, okay, so there's two markups, or I can not have any dealers and I can sell it directly to you guys, and I cannot mark it up, and I can sell it for what is the fair retail price, in my opinion. Or actually, I shouldn't say fair retail price, below fair retail price. Because for the Fisher & Fisher SN570s, like I just showed you, a fair retail price is 45 grand. I sell them for 25 because I want to bring you guys higher integrity product. I want to bring you better deals than any mother effer selling hi-fi, okay? And all these jokers, these guys that have the big stores and the huge overhead and all that stuff, they are going to be, they're going to have several markups. The only way you guys buy from them anyways is if they make shit half off. So it's a total, the whole thing is a stroke job. They're stroking you, you're trying to stroke them, but they're really getting one over on you when you think you're getting a deal because it's extra inflated. And it's like they'd make the same amount. In other words, at 45 grand, if I discount them, like, okay, let's say I'm selling a Rockport, okay, and I'm just using Rockport because I really like the brand, and it's the latest thing that I listened to that wasn't Fisher & Fisher, that I thought was good. Okay, so he told me they're 40. I know they're 45 grand. He got them for about half of that price because the dealer sold them to him half off. So the dealer, if you look at the amount of money the dealer made, like let's say, the dealer makes, I don't know, I'm not gonna, I'm gonna do this I'm not gonna try and make this math correct. Okay, I'm just trying to make a point. So the numbers I throw out are not going to compute, okay, because I just don't have the bandwidth to do the math right now. But if I sell something, we'll make it easy, $100,000, okay, and let's say I get, it's 100 grand, I make 50 on it, okay. Let's say in order to cause a jump sale on you, I want you to compulse, I want you to impulse, I want to make you a deal you can't refuse, right? So I offer them to you for 60, okay. I make 10 grand, okay. If I just sold something that was 60 grand full price, and I made 10 grand, I would make more than 10 grand, but I'm trying to make this example work and it's not working. What I'm saying is if you hyperinflate something, the dealer will make a chunk of cash. If the dealer sells a lesser priced product, and he can get the same amount of cash. So it doesn't matter. It's either sell cheaper stuff at a higher profit margin or sell more expensive stuff at a lower profit margin. What's the fuckery in this whole thing is the product is the same, whether it's 45 or it's priced right, like 25 in the case of Fisher & Fisher. It in the end, the dealer doesn't care. He made 10G on moving 2 boxes, or moving a box. So, but in the grand scheme of things, what manufacturers don't understand is it makes the dealer look good and it makes the manufacturer's product look overpriced. Do you get that? If the dealer's discounting shit 30, 40, 50% off, it's because it's overpriced product. Because stuff that is not overpriced does not get discounted. Now, there's a few, shall we say, variables in there. If it is a dealer who is not well capitalized, it's a dealer who's running close to the bone. He's overextended. He's leveraged his ass really hard to try and make a big, beautiful store and do all this shit. So he's leveraged his ass. His ass is in a sling. Now he's desperate, okay, to make the bills. So they may drop trowel because they don't have backup or whatever. They don't own the building. They're paying rent. There's different situations. Doesn't always mean the product is necessarily overpriced. It either means product's overpriced or the dealer's desperate, right? It's like one of those things. Otherwise, shit doesn't get discounted. Why would you see Porsches getting discounted? Do you see Ferraris getting discounted from the dealer? No. Why? Because they don't need to. They've got millions and millions and millions of dollars in reserves. They're totally capitalized. Again, generally speaking, right? Some Ferrari dealers go out of business. I know if you want to argue it. But what I'm getting at is if you're well capitalized, and you don't need to price drop in order to make people compulsively buy. There's integrity within selling, and then there's the stroke job within selling. So either way, and I think with a lot of these speakers, which is the gist of this video, is that they're horribly overpriced. They're ridiculously overpriced. The price of the product has absolutely no relation to the cost of the build or the R&D that went into it, because they have to amortize R&D or paying the thing. Some people in trying to make a case for it. Well, it costs that much because this company has to feed mouths and has to, pay for all this shit. And it's like, okay, so it doesn't make it any better for the buyer. Just because there's a reason they're gouging on their shit, because they're leveraged to the hilt, it doesn't mean it's any better for you. It just means they have a reason why they need to overcharge. So that's what I say to people that say, well, they need to pay, it's not just the cost of the build. And I get it. There's more than just the cost of the raw materials. There's turning the lights on. There's paying for the internet. There's paying the employees. There's the advertising they do and all that shit. But if I'm a company that wants to have 50 employees, I want to do $100,000 to $200,000 a year in ad budget. I want to do radio commercials. I want to do TV commercials. I got millions of dollars tied up in marketing. That's how I run the business. And as a buyer, an end user, you're paying for somebody to run hot like that. Okay. So you have a choice. I'm going to pay for this company to run at full tilt boogie and market as a marketing maniac company, or I can pay less and not have to pay their overhead, their car payments, their what do you call work cars for their people, or what all their building, all the shit that they pay for. You look at some of these dealers, they got Ferraris, all sorts of shit. You're paying for that, man. You're paying for them to have frivolous expenditures. And it's all good. It doesn't matter, but just the bottom line is to show the different sides of the coin. What do you really want to perpetuate? Okay, that's the bottom line. Because whatever you feed will grow. Whatever you give your money to will stay it will stay happening, right? It will stay going. That will become the norm. If everybody dropped everything and just paid for this, that would be the situation that happened. If everybody stopped buying from corporate companies and only bought from handmade companies, smaller companies, those smaller companies would flourish. You guys with your business would help build something that in the end is better for you, is better for all of us, because they're hand-built quality products that have much more in the build than, say, a KEF. A KEF is a cheap-ass build. I don't care how far you go. It's going to be made to be, they have to make 10,000 at a time. They make them out of plastic and all this stuff and whatever. It's a different manufacturing process. And a lot of times those are sold at discount. They sell them at discount. There's too many of them. Look at, will you find Fisher & Fisher speakers even for sale on the secondhand market? Probably not. It's like, will you find Playback Designs on the secondhand market? No. If you do, they're definitely not going to be half price. You know, I sell used playback designs that are the DAX are 26 grand. I sell used ones for 24 grand. I buy them back for 80% of what they were purchased for. Unless it was a short time. Well, that never happens. I mean, but nobody ever trades an MPD8. I buy when I end up. I make the agreement that I will buy them back for 80%. That's my policy for anything that people buy from me, not just MPD8. None of the MPD8s come back, but the MPD6s come back, and then they get 80 points on what they paid. Yeah, so it is kind of a it is an interesting thing. The speaker thing. The speakers are next to cables. Cables is the first highest profit. Speaker is the next highest profit. It's extremely high profit margin product. Typically, the margins are 50 to 60, 50 points for sure on speakers for the dealer. Okay, and the components are never 50 points. They're 40 points, right? This gives you a little idea of the inner workings of everything and how it works. And you know, again, it's choose what you want to perpetuate. Okay. Do you want to perpetuate the overpriced buying shit at half off? You know, oh, I got such a good deal. You know how many people, nobody pays that ultra high end. Everybody pays half price for it. Nobody pays full price. It's always sold at half off. Always. You can always find a Wilson half off. You can always find a Magico half off. You can always find D'Agostino half off, Boulder half off, Griffin half off. All that stuff is all half price stuff, you know? And to me, it's like I sit and I think about it and I'm like, well, is that why is that? Well, first of all, the dealers don't respect the brands. They don't give a shit. They're just box pushers. So they don't care to respect and protect the name or the image of the brand. They're just looking to make the next deal. So in some ways, you guys think, you know, hey, this is good for me. But let's look at, if you keep buying that way, half off from the dealer, what's going to perpetuate? What kind of products will you perpetuate? What kind of companies are going to go to the wayside and what kind of companies will flourish? Whatever you feed is what's going to flourish. Okay. I prefer to feed the companies where the family still runs it. They still have the people still have heart and passion in the builds, and they're not trying to gouge. You know, Jeff Rowland amplifier for 15 grand. Totally not gouging. Total great deal. I mean, he's a premium, but you see every dollar, you hear every dollar of what you get when you buy a Jeff Rowland piece. It's the same with Fisher and Fisher. It's the same with Playback Designs. It's the same with Audio Analog. It's the same with Nuontech. Those are the products that I sell because I seek that out. I don't know what we could call it. We could call it integrity within audio, or like, you know, whatever it means. But it's not just the open profiteering and selling MDF. Do you understand? Let me explain what MDF is. Sometimes people say FHDF, right? High density. There's medium density and there's high density. It just means there's more weight of sawdust, okay? It's high. F stands for fiber board, okay? What is the fiber? It's dust. It's cellulose dust or whatever the hell. I'm taking a guess at the fact that it's cellulose. It is sawdust essentially, right? And it's powder, right? Powdered fiber, okay? Just, it's like dust, right? You take it and you compress it with glues and you turn it into a board, and then it's fake wood, okay? Why do people like it better than fake wood? Or I mean, better than wood? Well, some people don't. Sometimes wood is better, plywood, because if you use solid wood, it's going to crack. It's going to expand and contract, and it's going to crack. It's not going to last. Those solid wood products, you just can't use it. In very few cases can you use it. If you get perfectly kiln dried wood that you then hand oil, and you can make some stuff out of solid wood that way. Very painstaking process. Most of the time it's easier. Now you also have to realize these products need things, or these companies, especially the big companies, they need shit, meaning raw material, okay, that they can find immediately with no hangups and no problems. Okay, so let's take Fisher and Fisher, for instance. I needed to make my 1000.1 speakers. They need some big ass pieces of granite, bigger than the other speakers. They said, you've got to wait. The mine needs to find it. What does that mean? Well, it's not every piece that comes out of there isn't that size. They're smaller sizes. They may not be that thick, that big, which they need, and they may not be of the quality level, because there's different qualities of slate when you're down there, and you can only use the A grade slate to make a speaker. So they said, we need to wait till they pull more stuff out. So they've got the order in, and here they are down in the mine looking and seeking out where they can pull the big slabs from, and pulling out the big slabs. Now, that is absolutely not conducive to high volume, okay? You could never scale that, and it's not meant to be scaled, okay? It is meant to create something that is a one-off, bespoke, handmade creation, okay, which is a Fisher and Fisher speaker. On the other hand, we can take one of the mainstream brands, okay? Pick your name, okay? You guys know the names. They're made with medium density fiberboard or high density fiberboard. It doesn't matter. It's still sawdust, whether it's MDF, HDF. You're not any better by saying, well, it's really not MDF, it's HDF. Well, wow, really? Wow, that's worth at least double. It's still pressed powder, right? And so it's made, that material you can find from Georgia Pacific or whoever makes it. You can get it at Home Depot. You can get it from the lumber yard. You can get it from the lumber supplier. You can get freaking containers of it from China. Every single freaking board is going to be the same density, the same mass, the same thing, the same size, blah, blah, blah. You can get it readily. It's always there because it's a commoditized product. Okay. Then what they're going to do is take it and glue it together. They're going to take two, because the stuff doesn't come in 2-inch thick sheets or whatever. They're going to take it and they're going to glue it together to double up 2 pieces of MDF. And then what they're going to say is they're going to put whatever glue is in between. If there is a glue, you can call that a viscoelastic damping layer, depending on how thick. Now, especially if you use something like a silicone or you use a certain polymer that is thick, so you put a space in there. Now you've got a viscoelastic. You just glued 2 pieces of shit together, and you used a layer of goop in between them, and now you can pitch that as extra special damping protection. But it's just, you just used a fatter layer of glue. Okay, it's smart. Okay, but then you get your 2-inch thick viscoelastic. We can charge $45,000 for a speaker. It's still using pressed powder. And then you spray it. So you can sand it, you can putty it over the nail hole. So you can put your, putty over the nail hole, sand it down, make it smooth, round the edges, do whatever. And then you put it in an automotive paint spraying booth and you spray it with car paint, back and forth, spray that shit, lay it up, and it's sprayed, pressed dust, powder product. That cannot get wet. If you get it wet, it will swell up and ruin whatever that thing is made out of it, the furniture. Okay, it's furniture, used for furniture most of the time, and it's used for cheap furniture. Okay, so let's ask ourselves, in the furniture realm, is $250,000 furniture made out of MDF? You would be laughed out of the freaking room if you tried to present a high-end piece of furniture made out of fucking pressed fiberboard. Okay, but somehow in our industry, you can charge $250,000 for pressed fucking fiberboard. It's a joke. It's like, how does that? How I'm looking at the thing, I'm thinking about the number, and it absolutely does not compute. So I have the balls to ask the manufacturer, why are you guys doing that? How do you come up with that price? And we know about what they say. They say, well, people in Hong Kong really demand it. The rich Chinese want this shit, so we're making it for them. Okay, so that's great for them and the rich Chinese people, okay? But how does that parlay to us here in the U.S.? Many times, these are our brands. These are our companies that are here. But we can't even buy from them, or we don't want to buy from them because of how they sell out to the Chinese billionaires or whatever. So it's just an interesting conversation to open up. Yeah, it's a can of worms. Yeah, it bothers people because it's a touchy subject, because they're selling something that is grossly overpriced for what it is. And you can't tell me that you need to 100 times something in order to pay your bills, unless you're overspending and you're just a dildo with the way you keep your books and the way you spend, you know. So it's just interesting conversation to think of, why does sprayed MDF get sold for so expensive in our industry as a piece of furniture, when in any other industry it's only the cheap IKEA shit that's made from MDF. The good stuff, Henryden, whatever, those other things that are made up in the Carolinas, the handmade, stuff, stone furniture. Go try and buy a slate desk. Let's see how much a slate desk costs in from a high end furniture place. Good luck. It's going to be 10 grand, for the desk or whatever. So it gives you an idea, but people don't ask themselves this. And herein lies the rub. It's in the marketing. So if the company has $1 million budget, it's like a hedge, right? If we put $1 million into fleecing people, okay, into these beautiful, ads with beautiful women and pianos, and in bar, we're going to borrow some house that one of our guys, one of our CEOs has, or we're going to go rent a house in somewhere beautiful, and we're with a beautiful, and then we're going to put our speakers. And the funniest part is, watch how these companies market, and they put their speakers out. There's never speaker cables. Okay. And you're like, God damn, people don't even think about that. They look at the marketing picture and they think those are beautiful speakers. That's how they're going to look. No, they're not going to look like that in your room. They're going to have an ugly ass cable coming out the back, draped across that beautiful wood floor, getting in the way of your view of that giant mountain outside. Okay. It's not, trust me, look at the photos of high-end audio. There's never power cords. There's never cables. The products are stacked on top of each other with no cables. The speakers have no cables, never any cables, because it looks like ass when you put your cables on. It looks like utter shit with cables running everywhere. I don't care how much you put them on little plexiglass, beautiful, pretty, bronze, whatever the hell, elevators, and you make them big and fat with all sorts of glitzy ass gold shit on them, and you try and pretty them up. They still look like shit strewn all over your floor and draped all out of the back of the gear. It's ugly. Okay. So they never show it. So this is how you get marketed to. You get marketed to, but people don't think about it. So what I exhibit and what I'm trying to say is, you're being taken for a dumbass. You're being taken for a bozo. Now, let me say this. It's not only this industry that takes you for a bozo with marketing. Look at Burger King, look at Coca-Cola, look at the pharmaceutical companies. Pharmaceutical companies are doing freaking videos, advertisements for us during the game, where you're watching the game and there's an advertisement for some antidepressant or Ozempic weight loss shit. Well, how is a end user, a patient, supposed to even, and then you're supposed to go to your doctor? Think of how, well, okay. So I'm trying to put myself in the doctor's position. I know what it's like in my position when people read marketing and then they talk to me like they know what the fuck is going on, and they're educated from marketing. You can tell. You're like, dude, you're asking me complete dipshit questions. Now, don't get me wrong. You can ask me dipshit questions all day long. I'm talking about like when we go to the shows, and not where they're asking questions. Okay, so let me walk that back. It's not where they're asking questions. It's where they're talking like they know what's going on. So they're making they're making statements that are finite, definite statements. Oh, well, this doesn't do that, and this does that. Well, this is because of that and that and that. And you can tell by the way they're saying it that they got their information from marketing. And you're like, this is crazy. Like, you couldn't be any more misled. But after 25, 30 years of doing this, it's like you start to understand how the marketing works with people. And it's tempting. It's tempting to take advantage of you guys. It is truly tempting. I could make the sickest pitch. I could make it so brilliant and so silver-tongued and so fanciful and footloose that you guys would be dumping your money onto my desk. But I see it as manipulation. I don't see it as good karma. The energy that it takes for me to put my brain into click, hustler mode, like I'm gonna get one over on these people mode because they're stupid. You have to have a bit of contempt for your buyer. Okay, you can't do it without, because if you have no contempt, you only have compassion for your buyer, then you can't price things that way. Okay, but if you're gonna press MDF and put it in a fancy style and then charge 250, you have to have some contempt for your buyer. You have to, at some point, on some small level, be going, fucking idiots. Okay, whatever. They're so fucking rich and they throw their money away, and I see them throwing their money at all this different shit. I want to capture some of that money. So I'm going to make something that's going to capture the money from the people that like to throw money. To me, that energy, the whole energy surrounded by it and everything, is not good energy. It's not my energy, right? So I don't want to participate in it. But what I do is I try and if other people want to participate in it, again, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. I just want people to be aware. So I just make people aware. People will look at, if somebody doesn't tell you what's up between granite and MDF, you're going to look at a Wilson, you're going to look at my granite speakers, and here's how you're going to compare to me. You're going to go, Mikey, well, they both have two 8-inch woofers and they both got a tweeter and a mid-range. So how are they, that's how you, and I'm not blaming you, right? It's just how a person thinks that does not understand manufacturing. You just think of specification, count of drivers, weight, efficiency, ohm, load, this is how you think about these things. You don't really think, what is this pressed powder board that is painted in it's cheap furniture grade, or is it high grade cabinetry that is made from stone that is one of a kind build? What I have here, there will never be another one exactly like it. And then make your decision based on that. Say, I want to buy the cheap furniture grade stuff because it's half off. I found it for half off. But then again, what I submit is that the price is never a real price to begin with. It's meant to be sold half off. Okay. And that is, again, that's a speculation. That is my take from what I've seen in this. I study this industry for the last, and when I say stuff like that, it's not popular to be talking that way, because I'm letting you guys, I'm opening your eyes a little bit. I'm showing you behind the curtain, because otherwise the marketing has you in an ether. It has you, it's like a rag with ether over your nose. Here's a marketing piece. Here's Stereophile. Here's Absolute Sound. Here's these liquid-tongued reviewers. It's the ether cloth over your nose, man. And then you don't think about what materials are in this. Where did it come from? Why is it even? You just accept that it's 250 grand and you think it's cool because it's 250 grand. And it's like, dude, it's not cool. Do you understand? It's ruining the market. That's ruining the market. It's making it good for wealthy Chinese or whatever the fuck these people are talking about. But for you and regular buyers that actually worked hard, can't say that, okay? That actually want to get a value for their money, you should just know the difference. Just don't be caught with the ether rag. And so again, that is more my point than anything. I'm just trying to open eyes. If people say, I love the feeling of ether, and I can tell, I get calls from people that need to be sold, man. They need that story, that whole thing, the whole fluff job or whatever you want to call it. And there are perfect brands for that. And then you fluff them and then you tell them you got it half off, and then they go cuckoo for it, and then you've got a product that nobody really respects. Everybody knows it only sells for half off. But you've got the name, and it's like you can show everybody. But if people like that, hey, all the power to them. There's nothing wrong with that. You can buy for that reason. I'm going to now break on what I'm talking about and get back to some of your comments here. Hope I didn't miss much, Andy. Still out riding the lawnmower. How are you answering on the lawnmower, bro? You still want to hear the Fisher? Yeah, Dave, you got to come out here, bro. When I get them set up, I'll get them set up and dialed in. It won't be done before I see you. I'll see you first. And then you can come back this way and we can listen and you can compare. Then we can say how they compare to the R1, because everybody wants to know that. How does the Fisher & Fisher top line compare to the R1? The Fisher, I'm probably marking the Fisher & Fisher top of the line up $15,000. And there's no reason for it other than it's underpriced. Okay. So I'm getting it the same price. I'm going to tack 15 grand more on to it. Okay, I'm just letting you know, because it's underpriced. That thing competes. It will compete with the $250,000 speakers, and right now it's priced at 80 grand. I think 95 is a more proper price for it. And then we can compare it to the $160,000 TAD R1s, and we can see that, which is, as far as I know, that's the best speaker I know of, is the TAD R1. That is, I don't think it gets any better. So we will hear how close, and if it can come close, is the Fisher & Fisher for basically half the price. Hey, Tommy, how are you, buddy? Good to see you, man. Watching the stream with the sound down and witnessing all the greatness in words with Radiohead Kid A. Can you dig it? Yeah, that's funny. You're just watching my head bop around. I can dance. Hey, Mikey in the tribe, what is up? Nick, our resident guitar guru. Mike from California. Here comes Charles. Charles is going to be riding shotgun with us, or in the back. We're going to pick up Charles in LA. We're going to do a road trip in Cali. If we're doing this road trip, Charles, I'm going to have to pick you up before the show. So I'm going to have to come in like the 16th, and then we're going to have to road trip up. Hopefully you got your driver's license, right? Because if you can drive, then we'll switch off, brother. That would be great. Then we can do a straight haul, because I think it's 9 hours. I was thinking San Francisco to LA was like 3 or 4 hours, but I guess it's more, isn't it? I think it is. Romania, Europe, mate. Oh, hi, Sa. Oh, you're in Romania? Is that where you are? You're speaking like a Australian when you say mate. Daniel, hey man, what is up? Michael, hey Mikey, another OCD audio guy. What's up, Michael? How are you? Hey Nick, gang. You know what we're gonna do, guys? We're gonna do our own rallies. You know, it's coming. That's all I'm saying. It's coming up. It's coming up. You guys are gonna get. We have a killer group. Our group is strong. Our group is great people, and we do not need anything else but what we have going on with our own posse. Let me put it that way. We can flip the bird to the rest of the industry, and it wouldn't matter to us. We would still be totally fine, and we'd probably have more fun, and we'd have less lying and more camaraderie. Hey, from Fort Worth, what's up, David? David's our musician from Fort Worth, Texas. Good evening, tribes. There he is. Aussie audiophile from Geelong. Yeah, man. Good stuff. I'm coming, Shane. Okay, Black Sheep just got done delivering freight. Old Dominion is busy here in Grand Island, Nebraska. OD is the best freight line that I picked, dude. I know it's top of the shelf. I always dig your vids and straight up honesty, brother. You bet, man. Yeah, he drives for OD, and OD is my favorite carrier. They are the highest level. You know, you can get lucky with the other guys too sometimes, but like I trust OD more than anybody. Love and Mikey down under. Yeah, what's up? Cheers, man. Cats down under the stars. Yeah, Cats Under the Stars. And it's Jerry Garcia band. In a previous video, you mentioned old school watts regarding a vintage integrated receiver. Why is old school power more robust than actually rated? It's not more robust than actually rated. It is just truly rated. What happened was, Fast Larry and the gang with their little stereo receiver sets, sales, hawking, stuff or whatever, pumped the what they started to do is publish peak watts. In the old school, they published RMS watts. That means continuous watts. It's 30 continuous watts. You can play 30 watts all day long, no problem, 30 watts. What they started to do, and then there's peak watts. Okay, so an amp that does 30 watts continuous can do 100 watts peak. That means instantaneously it can go pop, and depending on what frequency you use, maybe you can go higher than 100 watts if you use a frequency that's really easy for it to drive, something a little higher in frequency, and you can do a quick pulse, bop, and you can hit 200 watts with the 30-watt amp. Then they would say 200-watt amplifier. But really what they do, then they take it and they double it because it's a stereo amp. So they'd say 400-watt or fourth. And then they just started going. I took a picture of one, like I was at an appliance store. This is like 4 years ago. And there was an all-in-one stereo set. And it's like, hi-fi stereo set, 2,000 watts. And it was like $159. And I'm like, this is the worst of the worst. But some of that stuff still lingers. And let me tell you something that I learned from Jeff Rowland, who is an amp designer. There is no amp that truly doubles down and 4 ohms at 2 ohms. According to Jeff, it is absolutely impossible by physics to double down. You can come close, but you can't hit the exact number. When you bridge or when you double down, when you do that, there are losses associated with doubling. You can't double. It won't double because there's losses. So this is another one of the embellishment things. If something's 200 watts per channel at 8 ohms, then it's supposed to be 400. And what people are led to believe is it must double down perfectly or you shouldn't buy that amp. Well, what you need to know is there's nobody checking those numbers, okay? A company can claim whatever wattage they want regardless, and there's nobody checking, well, let's measure this thing, and it actually only does 150 watts, but they claim to, there's no cops, there's no watts cops, there's no audio cops. Some of these guys, AMR, what's his name? AMSR, Audio Science Review, ASR. These guys are, they measure stuff, and the numbers many times don't come out the way they're published. Some of the modules, it's a big thing to fluff the numbers. Let me just put it that way. It's a big thing to fluff the numbers. And it's another way that you can sort of tell the intent. Remember how I come back to you guys all the time about the intent, the intent, the intent. What's the intent of the manufacturer? What is the intent of that design? What is the intention? Because you want to buy what the intention is. If I'm buying a race motorcycle, I want to buy a bike that the intent in the build was to fucking win races, right? Not to be cool at the coffee shop. If I'm buying a race bike that I want to take to the coffee shop and I'm not going to go on the track, then I want a bike, then I will accept a bike that has the intent of only going to the coffee shop, a Moto Guzzi or something maybe, and really not winning races, okay? A Ducati is built to win races. A Moto Guzzi is built for other reasons, okay? Just for this example, I'm going to say it's built for going to the coffee shop, okay? Because they kind of are the coolest things at the coffee shop, and the ducks are the coolest thing at the track. So as a buyer, don't you want to know what the intent? So I try and give you and teach you how to understand the intent of the product that you're buying so that you can properly make a decision. Because it's freaking confusing out there, right? So, when you look at a product that has stamped sheet metal, okay, and you can look at the build and how it's built, and you can say, okay, this product was built to be inexpensive and to be done inexpensively. So if you see something with bent sheet metal that's being sold for 35 grand, you can go, red flag, this doesn't compute, something isn't right, okay? If you open up the products like I do when I open up the products and I show you guys audio dissection or audio anatomy, audio autopsy, and we go inside and we look, you can tell inside if that thing is made for quick assembly or if it's made with performance in mind and it's a pain in the ass to assemble, okay? I can tell like that. I know what it's built for. I know what the intention was with that design. So the one that's made to be built quickly, it should not be as much as the one that is built to be a boutique handmade piece, handcrafted, and it's built for sonic, where they separate things and they go through great lengths to make sure they're not on the same board and they're separated and then they're isolated and all that stuff. All of that stuff is harder to do than to put the shit all on one PCB. That's the easiest build you can do. Put your whole freaking thing on one board and drop that board into a, you make a box, drop that board into the box, put 4 screws on the board, plug in the plugs, bam, it's built. You did that shit in 5 minutes, okay? So there's intent in that. There's intent in everything in the world, right? So that's when I fall back to that, the reason I'm telling you about this is so that you can choose who are your champions. Because I would expect you buy something because you're loyal to the brand. And why are you loyal to the brand? Because their vibration and their philosophy jives with yours. It's like you guys, you think the same way. You're finding people that think the same way. So if there is a product, and I'll get back, this is, I came off path. If there's a product that says it doubles down into 400 at 4, 800 at 2, and 1600 at 1 ohm, okay? There's no fucking way it does that, okay? If it does, then show us the goods, show us the measurement, prove it, because you're just saying it and talk is cheap. Prove it, because they can't prove it, because it's impossible. As I understand it, okay? I'm not saying this as an audio engineer. I'm saying this from asking a 70-year-old amp manufacturer that's fabulously successful at doing it, that knows these things. And when I talk with manufacturers and you get to know a little bit more, you learn these little things. You learn what the bullshit is in the industry. And there's definitely a layer of bullshit in many of the companies and many of the dealers and many of the just how it's done, right? So by being aware, you can learn to rule out this brand, rule out this seller, rule out this whatever, group of people on Facebook, whatever. You need to decide where you are, where's your group. Find your group, really, is what I'm saying. And how do you determine your group? Well, you find out what the intent of the group is. You find out what the intent of the manufacturers are that group is associated with. What is the intent? If the intent is world domination, there's certain brands out there that you're like, holy shit, are you trying to own every inch of space in the industry? I'm not going to say the name of the company, but there is a speaker manufacturer out there. Well, actually they do. They have an umbrella company that makes all the different parts, all the way down from cables and accessories, all the way up to $1 million speakers. And it's like their whole, the reason that I'm not totally on board with them is because they're trying to dominate the whole freaking space. Okay. To me, that's greedy intent. Okay. That's greed. I don't jive with greed. I don't give a shit how good your products are. I don't give a shit how cheap they are, whether you made them, you got $1 million speakers and then you sell other ones for 500, it doesn't matter to me. It shows me intent of the company. It's greed and it's domination. It's a domination-minded company. They want to dominate. They want everybody else to be their bitch. That's not my vibration, man. So I go into the rooms, I listen, I'm like, yeah, sounds good. But can I warm up to the vibe and the energy of that family? No, I can't. I'm not. I like the guys that are the representatives. They're freaking cool. I like those dudes. But the company as a whole, I'm like, they're trying to take too much. They want to own the whole freaking pie. So you ask yourself, is this what I want to perpetuate? Do I want to buy this brand and perpetuate domination from a single company in the field, or somebody that is, that their mind is, let's take it all. So these are all things that we look at when we're considering what do we want to buy, because ultimately what we buy is what we prolong, what we perpetuate, right? So, and by marketing, I can almost, I want to say con, but it's not really con, but it is sort of you into perpetuating a brand due to a look and a reputation. Think about Macintosh, like that's what I had in my mind, like the big blue meters and the blue things, man, people get so horny for that shit. And it's really lackluster product, in my opinion. It used to be great. I think it is no longer great. I'm going to show you a picture that somebody sent me. let's see, earlier today. Where is he? Okay. And I'm going to show you the picture that he sent me. And this gives you an idea of, okay, let's see if I can get it to focus properly. Oops. Oh, what was that? That's a price. Okay, so anyways, you guys can see what that is. I mean, it doesn't even need to really be in focus, does it? I'm trying to get it to focus. It's trying to focus on me. That's what it's trying to do, my face. Anyway, there it goes. Okay, so you can see that thing. Now, this guy's got a boner. Like, I can tell. I'm not even going to say what, because I'll be profiling to tell you what kind of buyer that is. I can probably locate exactly what country that's in, and know what it's all about. Look at those amps. The amps are set on the floor. Okay, you're going to spend that much dough, and then you're just going to stack your amps on top of each other, put them on the floor, and then see those little baggies? Those are bags of desiccant, material sitting on. It's tied onto the handle. So this isn't going to dehumidify shit sitting out there. It's not going to help the amp. It's going to maybe dehumidify a 1-inch space around that little baggie. But, this is what some buyers want. They want a look. And Macintosh knows this. So look how they put all the blue on the front. It's obnoxious to some people. It's cool to others. It looks like whatever is like, 2001 A Space Odyssey or whatever. It's kind of cool, but it's the first thing I think of when I see a system like that. This guy knows nothing about audio. He knows nothing about audio. He's just a vision buyer. Look how it's all stacked up. It's meant to look cool, and he's showing it off. That's he's showing his boner, and it's like, okay, whatever, to each his own. If that makes him happy, then good. I'm glad for him. But it's I don't know how I got off onto that subject. Vintage integrated receivers. Okay. So old school. I get sidetracked. The old school stuff had more integrity. If you look at the world back then, back in the 50s, okay, in some ways it was worse, right? You got to smack your woman and beat the kid and like be bigoted and shit like that and be an asshole everywhere you went. It was kind of like you could do that shit. And so it was jacked up in that way. But in another way, we had more integrity with manufacturing in the United States, just generally everywhere. We had more integrity with manufacturing, especially in the United States. When we offshored it, we fucked everything up. But everything was made to a higher level. It just was. And companies were trying to produce a product that was the best product. They weren't trying to make something that was the most flashy or the most expensive. They were just trying to make it the best at what it did, with integrity and honesty. And it's the world, in generally speaking, has gone away from that. So with our world devolving, the wattage ratings of gear has devolved right along with the world. So that was a long answer to that question. What do I think of Gertz cables? I don't think anything of them. Never tried them. I second what Neil said. Toronto is waiting for you, my guy. Cool. Are you up there too? Oh, wait, this is Alex. Alex is the buddy? You're his buddy? I guess I'll be meeting you too, bro. Michael says from Southern Vancouver Island. Okay, cool. Awesome. It sounds beautiful. That sounds beautiful. Just the sound of that. Southern Vancouver Island. That sounds like beautiful, tall pine trees and like birds, waterfowl, and good fishing and great seafood and relaxation. That's what that sounds like to me. Those words together. Am I getting rid of the big rig? Okay. So good question. If the flagship Fisher and Fisher is better, then I'm getting rid of the big rig. So the big rig is getting disassembled and set aside. And I'm going to bring in something that I am praying can match it and will beat it, I hope. Because it just makes life better for me as a seller. It's unfair for me to have a reference rig that I don't sell. It's teasing you guys. I did it before I developed this YouTube channel. I did it before I developed before I had the intentions of doing what I'm doing right now. I mean, very early in my tenure, when I had my channel and I was talking about the gear, I had a client come in on his private jet. Okay, let that settle in. Okay, that is a different level of client with their own jet that waits for them. It's not a share. And you know how I know it's not a share? Well, he told me that. I ran the tail letters. You can see exactly who owns it and where it's owned, out of where, and all that shit, right? And you can see where it flies and all this stuff. You can track everybody's jet if you want to. And so the guy flew in on his jet. I picked him up. I got to drive my car onto the freaking tarmac. So here I am. The jet's right there. I pull my car right up to the jet. The thing opens up. The door opens up, and the stairs flop down. And then the dude gets out with his wife. They jump in my Volvo. We take off. We come to my crib. I take him for lunch. We listen to and he's blown away. He's like, absolutely, without a doubt. And he's heard other big systems. I won't say, of at least one other guy that has this big system. This guy's from South Florida. Anyways, and so he comes in and is like, I want it. And I'm like, he's like, how much? 250 grand, 300 grand, whatever. It doesn't matter. I want it. I'm like, dude, I wouldn't sell this to you. And I know where he's going to put it. He wanted to put it in his house in another country. And the house was in a warm climate, and it had tile and glass. And there's no way to make my big rig really. I would have had to just do so many custom things, and I'm not going to do that to him. Too many moving parts, right? It was my system was a culmination of me tweaking out for 30 years, putting something together, like learning and trying to go to the ultimate extreme of audio. And I crossed the line, baby. I mean, I got to where I didn't want to touch a thing. I'm like, don't move a freaking thing in here. Don't move that remote. Everything is so perfect sounding. And anybody can attest that has heard my big rig. There is no experience like it at any show has ever rivaled the experience that's in my big rig in this house. But the Fisher & Fisher 570 that I'm listening to is close, man. It is really close. I'm amazed at how close it is. And it's close enough that I hedged. I'm like, I'm getting the 1000s. Forget it. If they better this 570 by 3 steps, right? Because there's a 670, 770, and then 1000, then it's going to beat it. So to answer your question, yeah, my intent is to sell the big rig. So anybody listening right now, if these Fisher & Fishers beat them, you can buy my big rig from me. It's an active 4-way system with panels and 6 12-inch subs that are servo controlled, and I would sell you the whole freaking thing. Okay, here goes. I'm going to throw a number out. I hope I don't step on my pee-pee. I'd sell you the whole thing for 20 grand. Everything for 20 grand. Including a crossover, an active crossover. Is that right? Yeah, I'll do that. 20 grand, including an active crossover. So it's 6 12-inch subs, 2 amps, plate amps in a boxes for those 12-inch subs for 6 of them. Fisher & Fisher, Analysis Audio Amphitrions, $35,000. When I got those were 35 grand. I don't know if they've gone up, but it's the same thing as a Clarisys that's 110 grand, right? It's just the Clarisys has more metal and pretty shit on it. So it's those, and then Magnapan tweeters, and then a 4-way crossover that is discrete, meaning no op amps. Yeah. So anyways, I'll throw that out there. So that big rig will be for sale if the Fisher & Fishers can rival it. I've got my fingers crossed. I really want to do that. I need to do it because, again, it's unfair for me to have something that is the best that people have ever heard, and then I can't sell it to them, or I wouldn't sell it to them. I need to have something that's the best thing they've ever heard that they can buy if they want to, because that's what this guy told me when I said I couldn't do it. He goes, Mikey, I'm going to have to go buy. I'm going to go buy Wilson's, and I'm going to spend 250 grand. He's like, if you had speakers for 250,000, I would buy them from you. And at that point, I'm like, holy shit, man, I got to get off my ass and make something happen. So little by little, I'm doing that. And I'm doing it at the same time, not forgetting $2,500 DAX like the new OnTech. So it doesn't mean I'm abandoning my lower clients by going up the chain. It just means Mikey's growing and the tribe is growing and we're broadening our horizons. Many of these big rig systems that are being sold are also tribe locations. And yeah, there's one dealer out there that has like 5 locations around. I got to stop myself. I'm going to let shit out of the bag before it comes. There's such a big thing coming that it's going to landslide the industry. And you guys have, I mean, some of you that are astute will can get pick up what I'm laying down. But man, it's even the people that think they know what's happening have no idea how broad this thing is going. So anyways, I digress. 4 foot tall, 300 pounds. And a flat head where you can set your beer, right? So, but 3 foot tall might be a little bit better. 3 foot tall, flat head, no teeth. We're in business. Okay. Does Fisher & Fisher ever see you running out of stone, or is that a non-issue? It's a non-issue. They will just dig another mine. That whole area is covered with slate. It's these mountains there's slate all over the place there. And they actually, the first mine they closed and they've got another one now. So they just keep going, man. They go down and they burrow and they move and they burrow and they move. And then when that one is, I don't know, certain depth, certain whatever, they'll just move it, go dig somewhere else. But it is something that is not plentiful. So it is, every time you get a Fisher & Fisher, these things are not, it's not like MDF. It's not like plastic, which you're going to get forever, and it's always going to be there. This is like rare material. It's like, I don't know, niobium or something, it's you don't find it everywhere. You only find it in certain places, and only certain people think about. What I kept thinking about is, how do they get guys to work down here? These guys are doing manual labor in an atmosphere that gives your ass black lung. Okay. You die of cancer from that job. Okay. And people are doing it like, why they're doing that so that we can bring speakers to audio files for $25K for something that beats a $45K, name the big brand. It's an anomaly. It's a ripple in the matrix. And if you guys don't understand that, I've been trying to tell you over and over again, there is no better speaker value in the fucking universe than Fisher & Fisher. Come and listen to them. People that listen buy them on the spot. That's all there is to it. You listen to it and you're like, it's over, and then all you have to do is listen. If you can get an MDF speaker that sounds exactly like a Fisher & Fisher, which you can't, but if you could, the plain and obvious choice is Fisher & Fisher anyway, because the material's better. So it's such a no-brainer, but it's going to take me a long time of hammering it over people's head before they freaking get it, because people just don't get it. Now, if I did a marketing budget and I created every full page ads in stereo file, and I put my flunkies. Okay. Sorry. I'm making fun of the people that post on AudioGone, but I could put a $10 an hour kid, $15 probably now an hour kid on AudioGone forums. And just your job is to pump AudioGone forums and sit there and talk about me and my shit all day long, and talk about the products and start threads about the new OnTech DAC. By the way, if anybody wants this fucking job, call me and tell me right now. I will hire you to do this job. If you're on the AudioGone forums and you like to talk, all you got to do is talk about all the shit that the tribe carries and lead conversations. I do not have the bandwidth for it. Okay. I will pay somebody to oversee it, and head up that end of things. Okay. The forum person, but you need to have experience in hi-fi. You have to be able to talk to these people, because they will weed your ass out in a freaking instant if you're full of shit, unless you're really good at being full of shit. And in that case, I don't want you, because then it's like lying and then all that shit, whatever. But I see a lot of bullshit on those forums and a lot of people spouting shit. Nonetheless, I'm off the subject again. So it's a non-issue. Best to remove all other speakers from the room before dialing the new set, even if they're not in the way. The drivers from those other speakers mess with the sound. I know. But guess who doesn't care? I can make it. The reason I say that is because then I got to put all the shit somewhere like that I don't have room for it, right? So it's gonna sit in the middle of my fucking living room or some shit. 7 foot tall, black fucking panels, right? Ugly as shit, sitting in my face every time I walk through the damn living room, right? Okay, just because I think it's gonna ruin my sound, I've got speakers upon speakers upon speakers in there, and I'm still able to sell. All I need to do is to be able to have people listen and want to buy it. That's all I need to do. Okay. So if I can accomplish that with other stuff in the room, I'm going to keep all the shit in the room. That's all there is to it, you know? So hope you can understand. The 570s are phenomenal speakers at 25K. Don't you think so? Unbelievably great speakers at their price point. If I'd not heard these puppies in Mikey's space, then I would have thought this as true. If had not heard this puppies, then I would have thought maybe this was not true or something. But yeah, so they are. I mean, and people, I mean, when you hear it and then you hear other shit that's 45 grand, you go, oh my God, no way, man. What it makes you realize more than anything is how overpriced most speakers are. A lot of the I shouldn't say most speakers. I say the ultra high end speakers, how overpriced those are. I wouldn't have thought this as true. You wouldn't, right? Yeah, he's correcting it. Yeah. What's up, Martin? Marty's from Down Under. What's up, man? He is in Melbourne. So Martin is Dr. Good Vibes down in Melbourne, man. If you're down in Australia, get a hold of Marty at Dr. Good Vibes. Get a hold of Shane in Geelong. The Australian audiophile, and you guys need to hook up, man. Smoke a fatty together or have a steak or punch a kangaroo or something. Preach. Yes. Thank you. That's I try to. It's a tough job, but I mean, little by little, it's like I have to drip. It's like a drip in the arm, right? I got to just slowly drip this stuff so it sinks in. Otherwise, it's just, it's hard. And I have a way I project when I talk like this, man. I don't always talk like this in a normal conversation, if you're wondering that, okay? Because some people, when they meet me, they go, God, you're a lot more mellow in person. When I do what I'm doing right now, and when I do my videos, I'm public speaking. Okay, that's in my mind. I'm in public speaking mode. Public speaking mode, I project so people can hear me, so my communication is clear. So I do it because I learned public speaking. I used to manage and train people in a room of 30 people. I did training and in live, and so I projected. So when I'm teaching or preaching or doing whatever, managing whatever, when I'm talking to a group, I project and my voice gets into that mode, because otherwise people are like, speak up, can't hear you in the back, on whatever. So I'm used to doing that. When you meet me, I'm totally more mellow. I don't talk like this when you normally meet me. This is me in instructor mode or some shit like that, drill sergeant mode. Probably not, man. Those guys are way louder. How does TAD speakers fit into this equation of value? There is no value proposition for TAD whatsoever. They're not even after it. They're not trying to be value. They're being a cost, no object, premium product without a value proposition. That is what TAD is. TAD is the top level premium product at a top level premium price. You don't want it, don't freaking buy it. You want a discount, buy it used. That's the way it works. So that's how that they're not after value. Does that make sense? Let me know if you need more. I want to grow music creation. Okay, I'm with you on that, brother. I'm with you on that. Let's do it. We'll make it part of our what we're doing, man. Call me, Marty, tomorrow or something in the evening, and we can talk about that, about any of your concepts, and we can talk about how that is. Is this something? And I've got ideas already. I've already talked about. I'm not going to say it, man. I sent a list of things that the tribe would do, and my guy's like, "Holy shit, Mikey! Like fucking one thing at a time, brother." But I think my thoughts are the long haul, or whatever you call it. What ends up happening with this in the market is that you have this false reality around pricing. Exactly. It ruins it. It ruins it. Nobody believes that the retail price is right because many times it's not. So then some people say, oh, I never pay retail. I feel sorry for those suckers. Okay. Because if you never pay retail, you never get a full warranty, brand new piece. I mean, in few occasions you do. But you know, then it's like if your mentality is I never pay retail, and as a seller, if I think if you convince me that there's more people like you, okay, and I think holy shit, nobody out there wants to pay full retail, I'm gonna fake the fucking retail. What else does a hustler do? I mean, that's the very next thought we have. Let's double the price. Now we're going to make the same chunk of change. And when we discount 30 points, we'll make the same chunk of change that we did. What if you're a real good hustler, you make even more of a chunk of change than if they would have just paid full price at a reasonable MSRP. That's really turning the knife, because then you really get your little, you know, you get it back on them. They want to act like they're going to take 30 points off from your game, and they're going to wave around their money like, you got to give me 30 points off or I'm not going to spend 100 grand, you know, then we double it. And then we actually make it so that we make a little more, because then that makes us feel better. We're like, this motherfucker, we're going to show them, we're going to double the price, and we're going to actually make more when we discount at 30 points than if we would have kept it the old price and just made our normal margin. We'll do it so that we make more, because then we're like, you're putting us through this exercise of jackery. You're making me jack you off. So if you're making me jack you off, I'm actually going to make more money than if I didn't have to jack you off. Now, I don't like to jack dudes off. So that's why I price my stuff at the prices that I do. And I stick with brands that are the same way. Other people like to play a different game. They like to sell half price things and use that as bait, you know, and wave it around. I've got a really great deal. I've got a really great deal. They wave their fucking cock around, you know, and or whatever it is. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. And I'm sorry if that's disgusting, but I don't know how. It's disgusting to me, that behavior. So the only way I can relay my disgust is to paint a disgusting descriptive picture for you, so that you understand how I feel about it. I don't think it's cool to double price and discount, and then where you think you got one over on the dealer because you got 30 points off. You think you got such a good deal, and we're like, we just sold him a $20,000 speaker, you know, a double price speaker, and we took off 30 points. You know what I'm saying, right? We got him. Okay, because what it is it's I'm going to get one over on you. Oh, no, you're not. I'm going to get one over on you. So, you know, the seller is like, well, I'm going to get one over on you. I'm not going to pay full retail. Well, we're going to get one over on you. We're going to double the price and then drop it 30 points to cause you to purchase because you're a deal junkie. Do you understand that that is a psychology? Deal junkie, okay? Thinking that they're getting a value. There's a certain group of people, and sometimes they come from certain parts of the world, and they have to get discounts. They have to haggle. It's part of their nature. It's in their blood. They have to do a negotiation. They don't understand the model of pricing with integrity, so there's no little sword fight. Okay, they want the little swashbuckle. They want, and that to me is a jerk-off session. It's like you want to fondle each other. Okay, you want to do this game thing. You want to engage me in some make-believe game of fantasy that it's this much. No, it's that much. No, is it this much? No, it's that much. Well, I'll give you this much. No, I'll give you that much. That to me, I don't have time for that shit, right? So knowing that you're a deal junkie, I can take advantage of you. I can double price my shit and discount it and make more for you. It's and the people that are doing that, the companies and the brands that are doing that, are engaging in that. Now, do you want to prolong the fuckery? Do you want to prolong the sword fight? Do you want to perpetuate the jackery? Okay, if you want to perpetuate the jackery of playing the discount game, then keep buying from dealers at discount. Okay, perpetuate it. And that's all you'll ever get is the jack off game. Okay, or you can make a conscious decision. I'm going to buy product that is priced with integrity. I'm going to pay full retail price because I can see the value and I've learned how to see the value. It makes sense that it's this value, and I'm going to pay full price. And there's not going to be any feelings like we just played a stupid, silly game, a child's game. It's disgusting to me. It's like, just grow up, people. Fucking make a price with integrity. And then if you want to buy it at that price, or don't fucking buy it. But don't try and come to me and try and get it for less because you just want to get one over and feel like you got a value. I can rig that game. You don't understand that? And the first thing I'm going to do when you give me the disrespect of trying to whittle me down on price, I'm going to give you the disrespect of doubling the price next year. And then making more. I've said this so many times, it's like ad nauseum. It's like, I hope you guys understand that there are a whole section of the industry that plays that game. Okay. And if you want to perpetuate that, keep buying those brands from those dealers at discount, and then talking about the great discount that you got. Keep thinking it's cool when other guys tell you about their discount, and tell them what a great job they did, and you're going to perpetuate the jack off session. Okay. I'm not about it. That's why I created the Hi-Fi Tribe. I think it's almost like I feel like I had to create my own reality so I don't have to engage in the jack off session. I don't want it. Okay. So I can bring my own people in. You guys can come into our world. Okay. You can buy products that I've gone out. Look, I have experience. I'm not just some jamoke that came into the industry that wants to sell shit. Like half of these other folks that are out there, they're just, oh, it's good business. I could get into that. I could just carry this and carry that and put plaster my website and make money. No, I'm trying to create a movement and change this industry. And I'm not even trying to change them. What I'm trying to do is just create our own thing so we can fully ignore them. That's it. They can still have their little game that they play and play with each other. They can do that all day long. It's not, I don't care about that. I'm making our safe space, whatever you want to call it, our kick-ass tribe. I'm building the wall around our freaking settlement, right? And then we can ignore that shit. There's no game playing. There's no bullshit paid for advertisements. There's no sponsored freaking YouTube videos. There's none of that shit. That it's just a game, man. Let's get down to business. Is it good fucking audio at a good price or not? That's what I want. I want good fucking audio, and I want it at a good price. And I want to check this shit off my list so I can go fucking motorcycle in a different country or do whatever I want, right? So you guys feel me on that, and my clients that want the same thing, feel me on that. And they come, they're not interested in the game playing, the fondling. They're not into it, man. They're like, look, let's just do biz, man. And the funny part is, with me, it's about getting down to business. But when you come here, we're talking about business freaking 5% of the time. We're the rest of the time, we are all over about everything in our lives, and different things, and views of this and views of that, and travel and food and maybe a little politics, and just religion and different whatever, man. It's not this much is business, but that's all we need for the business, because it's straight and forward and cut and dried. There's no games around it. So it only takes this much time. We just get it done with. Let's get this shit done with. Woo! So there we go. There's another little, and these little snippets, these little rants that I have, it's like I'm letting you into my brain. Okay. You're hearing it exactly like I hear my own thoughts. You're hearing my thoughts, and I'm sharing them with you. I'm sharing my disgust. I'm sharing with you my frustration. I'm sharing with you, on the other hand, my love for music. I'm sharing with you my love for experience and relationships with people, and dogs, and travel, and food, and all this other stuff. But I'm letting you into my head. I'm letting you into my being, so that you can understand me, and then maybe vibe with me. Somebody asked me the other day, how many weirdo people do you get? Do you ever get buyers that you can't stand? And I'm like, never, not one, because they're not attracted to me. The people that I repel, the bugs, right? The ones that are going to bug me are repelled by me. Okay. The ones that get me contact me up. So all my buyers are great. I don't sell to they don't, and it's like, it's worked so beautifully. So being myself, the way I do right here, works so well for me. If I played a game to try and get all your sales, like, you might see other folks just trying to get sales anywhere they can, right? then I would have to sell to assholes that I didn't like. Okay. Or people that I just thought, people that want discounts, and are trying to get one over. People are trying to get one over on me, right? Or whatever. They think, oh, they have this, I don't know what, but it's just, or we don't vibe, whatever, for whatever it is, reason it is. So that's pretty cool. I attract people that are cool. And I was saying, I guess what I was saying is I let you into my mind. So when you hear these rants, I'm not angry. Okay. And people think, well, goddamn, why is Mikey so fired? Why does he have to talk so loud? And why is he so pissed off and all this shit? I'm disgusted. It's not pissed off. It's like disgusted, that's why I'm creating the Hi-Fi Tribe. I'm not trying to change anything over there. I realize nothing's going to change with certain individuals. They're just made to do, they're not here for the reason I'm here for. So anyways, we've got the Hi-Fi Tribe. Our Hi-Fi Tribe is the bomb. It is the cool place to be as far as I'm concerned, because and we created it. I can't do it without you guys. And so far, the support has been phenomenal. Thank you all for your support, by the way. You guys are and the money that I make from selling product, I'm putting it in back into the business. It's going into making us stronger. And just wait, you'll see what's coming. No, so it's not dust, it's paper, and high density, uses a different glue and is waterproof, used for flooring. Okay. We're meant to step on it. It's an underlayment. Okay. You didn't make it any better. You just made it worse. Okay. It doesn't even go in furniture. It goes on the fucking bathroom floor. Okay. Sweet. Let's put it in a speaker. Let's make a speaker out of it and spray paint that shit so they don't know it's underlayment. And then we'll sell it for $250,000. Woohoo! Let's go to the bank. I'm getting a Ferrari. Okay, whatever. Fortify the righteous. That's right. You're feeding the beast. You're feeding the beast, and they're baiting you with discount. So it's like a hook with a discount hanging off it, and they're baiting you with discount, and you keep wanting to bite that discount bait. It's the easiest way to hustle, you guys, is discount. People buy shit that they'll never use because it was on a good discount. I mean, it's a neuroses. Okay. Hello. And if somebody wants to take advantage of that, they do. Look at the credit card companies, holy shit. It is resonance control. It's not a bad thing or marketing. Okay, whatever, dude. You want to stand on that hill? How about you stand on that hill on your underlayment on the floor, and I'll stand on slate. Okay. You can have MDF. You can have that. We'll give it all to you. Okay. I'll keep the slate. You keep the MDF. How about that? Fair enough? To my favorite Ice Capades wearing jacket, brother. On your latest Hi-Fi. Ice Capades is pretty sweet, dude. That is so funny. I could play Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon with that jacket, brother. I mean, it's serious. You're gonna make me do. I wish I could do Saturday Night Live skits. I really do. I would have so much fun if we could do that. It's just way too much involved to do that. But you've seen little touches. I had Audio Jesus. I had I've done the Rasta Man. I've done like a couple different things. But you can offend people, and this is not a comedy channel. But it's just I think that shit is funny. Okay, so anyways, and you're funny for calling it an Ice Capades jacket. It's because it's a white biker leather. On your latest Hi-Fi Tweaks set of videos, my girlfriend is about 4 dB too bright when wanting me to go shopping. Got any tweaks? Yes, cryo-treated earplugs. Panzerholes is interesting. Panzerholes is totally cool. That is not a wood. It's phenolic. It's layered, glued up. What is Panzerholes? Is it paper? I know phenolic is a little different. I can't remember if Panzer is the same as phenolic. But yeah, it's cool. A lot of cool materials out there. Arboron, another one. They're trying to find suckers in China who will throw money away behind a name. Yeah, they're on a weird trip, bro, out there. They're all of a sudden making money, and they're allowed to do whatever. And they're like, let's spend it, because if we don't spend it, the government's going to take it. That's probably their thought is, if we don't get it out of the bank account, it could be seized. So they probably go crazy with it. But yeah, it's selling out is what it is to me. It's selling out. It's doing something that you wouldn't normally do in order to get money. It's you wouldn't normally price them that high. Why do you price them that high? Because I'm greedy and I want more money. Okay, whatever. You're going to alienate half your customers. So is hempwood. Hempwood sounds interesting. No, the rich Chinese don't want it. They want natural materials. They wouldn't accept them MDF or particle board. I'm pretty sure Wilson sells a shit ton to China, bro. So I don't think so. Do I have an opinion? Yes. For the best desktop speaker. Yes, I do. The Fisher and Fisher Klein, Klein, by far the best desktop speaker. Who makes the best toilet paper? Charmin. Duh, exactly. You got that. Like, was that hard? That is fucking duh. Or Northern sometimes can be all right. I thought you were always in hustler mode. No, man. No, dude. When I get off this here, I want to kick back and chill. I smoke cigars and hang out, dude, and sit back. I'm definitely not, man. I'm in the way I see it is when I do these videos, or when I do any of my videos, or I do my live stream, I have a job to do. My job is to leave you with something. I need to leave you with something that you are going to remember for your rest of your travels in hi-fi. The best way, if you want, let me use an extreme example. Okay, this is not a literal example. This is figuratively speaking. Okay, if you really want somebody to get something, you fucking slap them in the face. Now that motherfucker is like this, and then you tell them something, they're never going to forget what you told them because you just slapped their ass in the face. They are fucking awake at that point. They are listening. They are ready to kill you. All their focus is right on you. So by using verbal language, by using sometimes vulgarity that I know I do use, and I apologize for that. I'm not fluent enough in vocabulary or intellectual enough to I probably just don't care enough with the vocabulary. It's to me, it's a nicety. It's a formality. I don't see value in formality because I think that it is manipulation. If I want to make a rich person or a blue blood like me, I will adopt an intellectual way of speaking. If I want certain type of other person to like me, I will adopt their way of speaking. It's a con. So for me, I'm naturally a down-to-earth, regular guy. I speak my mind and I use the F word, and I use vulgar things using penis and vagina and breasts, and things like that to make my point. When I do that, it is to make it stick. It is the verbal equivalent of a slap in the face. It's whatever comes after that or around that is either going to make you completely ignore it, okay, which is the downside of if I slapped you, you wouldn't ignore it, right? You would really pay attention. But some of these ways, maybe I can think of more creative ways to do it, but it's to make it stick. So when I let you into my mind, my filter's off and I'm just going for it and I'm trying to get my point across and I'm telling it with emotion because I want you to experience it and know where I'm coming from. So not only is it the words, but it's the way it's delivered and it's the choice of words that will help deliver that message. That's why I do it. And I figure you guys deserve to hear me unfiltered and having a stream of consciousness. Okay, when you hear me stream of consciousness, man, you're getting pure Mikey. It's not cut. Okay, it's pure Mikey. And I think by giving you pure Mikey, I'm honoring you. I'm honoring you. I'm not trying to manipulate you. If I change the way I speak and I don't give you pure Mikey, now I'm trying to make you like me. I'm trying to make more people click. I'm trying to make more people subscribe. I'm playing a game again. Okay. I got to do what is me. And then hopefully you understand my intention, which I keep coming back to every time I talk about intention. What's Mikey's intention? Mikey's intention is to tell us about how the industry runs and tell us about products that are actually priced with integrity and have a strong value and are not available everywhere and not made out of cheap shit materials and overpriced. And of course, it's my opinion. So you have to value my opinion. You have to say, well, Mikey knows what he's talking about. All you have to do is come listen to one of my systems and instantaneously, you're like, this dude knows what the hell he's talking about. Like, Jesus, listen to this music. I've never heard anything like this. So anyways, I'm not always in hustler mode at all. But you know, if I am quick to understand if I'm being fucked with. Okay. You know, well, actually, sometimes I'm not, man. People can joke with me sometimes in public, and I don't expect strangers to joke with me. I expect them to all be at face value. And sometimes strangers, not people I meet doing business, but will give a line of bullshit, and then you realize later, and you're like, why did he even do that? He was just totally lying. It's weird. What material the Tad Speakers box is made from? I really have no idea. I know the veneer on the outside is olive wood, Japanese olive wood. But I don't want to speculate. But I'm sure you could find out on their website. Eye-opening and thought-provoking rant. Ether rag. Nice analogy. Yeah. See, I mean, and when I come up with ether rag, that is not something I thought about. That is something that was pure stream of consciousness. I'm like, what is it like? What is it like? My brain's searching. What is it like? It's like being under the ether. Okay, how does that work? Somebody puts ether on a rag and puts it over the face, and then the person is under their control. So it's like, okay, so then I use it in the sentence, and my brain is thinking that all ahead of while I'm talking, you know. And then I come, then how, you know, how do I put this across in a way that people will understand it? Because if I just say somebody's fluffing you, that's one way of, if you understand what fluffing means, then you get it. But you know, it's putting you under the ether. It's putting you in a fantasy world. You know, you're fantasizing. It's like the strip club, right? You go in the strip club, and if you're a poon hound, okay, you're going to go into the strip club and you're going to fall for those girls. You're going to think that they're like angels from heaven. Now, these girls are the farthest thing from angels from heaven. They are fucking, excuse me. They are from probably the other place, right? They're screwed up. They had a horrible, and again, generalizing, probably mostly had a horrible family life, maybe abuse in their childhood, drug addicts potentially, bad choices, bad people that they date, you know, perhaps selling themselves, you know, and selling themselves out. But when you go in, you're under the ether. You think they're these beautiful angels, right? That oh, let me rescue you, let me save you from this horrible place. So to save them, you start giving them money. Oh, I'm going to help her out. She needs to pay her bills. Next thing you know, you've spent thousands of dollars, and they gave you a fake number. It's funny. So it's the same. It's the same. You're dangling bait out there with a speaker that is MDF, that's beautiful, painted, and it's 100 or 200 grand. That is a stripper. That is something where you're under the ether. You think it's a beautiful angel. And look, if it makes you happy, that's fine. Some guys marry strippers or whatever, and maybe they're happy with it, you know. But then again, some people like sadomasochism, and some people like to be whipped, and it makes them feel good to be physically beat, okay, or psychologically subordinated. That some people like that. So perhaps the same kind of person that likes to be whipped by a dom and likes to be subordinated, maybe that's the same person that buys the cheap MDF thing for $250,000. Maybe it pushes that same button in their squirrel cage. You know, I don't know. So, Mikey, how's the tribe today? The tribe is awesome, brother. Sorry, a bit saucy due to 2 days power loss from the hurricane in Houston. Yeah, man. Someone said 60 hours. Craig was down there too, man. He has a do you have a generator? He's got a generator. How much do you offer for a fluff job? It's extremely expensive. I'll bet you're free. Oh, Charles, how dare you? Charles, killing me over here. I'm not free. I'm extremely expensive. Head, what's up, man? Shout out from Vegas. Good to see you. Good to see you too, brother. I hope I can meet you someday, man. You sound like a good guy. Amen, says Gene. Oh, is this Gene? I'm trying to say no, Gene DeMarco. What's the guy's name from Gene? Is it with an S? The guy from Gene, the guy from the other channel, audio channel. I think his name is Gene. It's not, I don't know. It's not Gene DeMarco, I don't think. But amen. Yeah, you're right. I try and watch these, but Mikey's just constant negative energy and bitching and complaining and putting other people down. What person did I put down? Okay, so let's entertain Drum Sack. Nice name, by the way. He's got a fucking drum sack. Does that mean people hammer on your sack, hammer on your balls? You're a drum sack. So is this putting you down? No, I'm calling you out. Did I say you're an asshole? No, I didn't. That's putting you down. So saying what's a drum sack, you like people beating on your balls, that's not putting you down. So do you know how to differentiate? Right now you're trolling me. That's what I'm aware of. Okay. So I want a little sport. Sure. I'll go toe to toe with you, drum sack. Let's go toe to toe. It gets tiring. Okay. It gets tiring. Then don't watch. Don't fucking watch, bro. How hard is that? Turn the fucking TV off. Go to another channel. Like I'm responsible. He tells me it gets tiring, like I'm responsible for his ass watching me. This is the perfect example of backwards thinking. He comes on here, tells me that I'm tiring, but he's watching me. Okay, so this guy likes pain. You like to be dominated. You like to go through pain because I'm causing you pain because you don't like it. It's tiring and so forth. And you think I'm bitching and complaining. Would you let me? So let's ask the gang. Okay. So if we were in Drum Sack's world, I would fluff job you. Okay. Instead of being real, I would be fake. And I would say to myself, geez, there's a whole group of drum sacks out there that are going to get offended if I say fuck. There's going to be a whole group of cymbal sacks that are going to get offended if I say penis or vagina or whatever, you know? So what Drum Sack is saying here is he would rather have me not be real. He would rather have me not bitch and not complain and not tell you. And I want Drum Sack, if you're worth a shit, because you're sitting here. So hopefully you'll answer to this. You won't just, right now you're going to prove if you're worth anything. Prove your worth by putting up a good argument here on your behalf. Because there's probably people behind you that think similar. They need your ass to talk with me right now because they're not willing to. They're too weak to do it. So if you're strong enough to come here and talk to me, then talk to me. What I want you to tell me is, who did I put down? Okay? Because this is what you're saying. So what I'm talking about here is, this is a lie. I'm putting people down. So what you're doing is you're creating a narrative. And what you're doing is you're creating a negative narrative. So what this drum sack is doing, it's very left wing. You're trying to virtue signal by telling me that I'm doing something, but you're doing exactly what you're saying that I'm doing. You're what you're accusing me of doing. That's what you're doing. So this is totally, you from fucking Portland? Excuse me, Tom. You're a good guy from Portland. But this is like a woke ass bitch right here. You know, I can tell by the argument. Okay, wham, he's saying stuff, and me saying wham, am I putting you down? No, I'm saying wham. That's not putting you down. Putting you down would be calling you a name, saying you're a loser, but on the contrary, I'm giving you the respect of a conversation. Okay, I'm inviting you to talk to me. What that indicates is respect. I want to hear your opinion. I see what you're saying here. Putting other people down, I disagree with. Prove it. Okay? Prove where I put other people down. Who did I put down? Because it's people, okay? That means a person. So give me a name of a person that I put down. It gets tiring. Okay, so if it gets tiring, that must mean there's two people that I put down. Because if it was just one person, probably wouldn't get that tiring. There's one dickhead, John DeVore, that I don't like. I'm vocal about that. But whatever. It gets tiring, then don't watch. And that's what the whole funny part is. Drum sack is a nut sack. 8,000 strong hi-fi tribe now. Yeah, brother, we're bringing it. We're bringing it. We'll be able to completely ignore it. Gene says, good time to call you tomorrow, Mikey. I know it's not on subject. And you can call me anytime, Gene. Anytime. My mono's extremely easily double down from 8 to 4 to 2 ohms. Okay. Easily. Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to argue with you. I believe you, David. But mine are anything but the pedestrian level pedal junk. Right. It's the stuff we can't see, we can't touch, we can't go. It's vaporware, David. You're pedaling vaporware. What are the dimensions of the new F&F you're getting ready to set up? For sure, you're expecting some real world. Absolutely, I'm expecting perfection. They're 650 pounds. They're 5.5 feet tall, and they're like 3 feet deep, something like that. I can show you a picture of them. They're for where am I? Oh yeah, right here. Okay. And just because I said that thing came from somebody with a woke ass sort of motto or whatever does not mean I'm a Trumper. Okay. So for those out there that are thinking, oh, he's a crazy Nazi. You say anything against the woke crowd, and then they call you a Nazi Trumper or something like that. And I'm not going to get into politics. So actually, I take that back. I didn't mean to get political, but that is some woke ass and a woke ass argument. It just I know enough to know how that. Anyways, so I'm going to be quiet, and I apologize if I got political there. So please forgive me. I am looking for. Oh yeah, I'm looking for this. Where am I? Oh yeah, here. Yeah, come on. Because I will show you what's coming. Okay, there we go. Here we go. Okay, here it is. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Oops, can you see that? Okay, with four slate cabinets, those two at the back. I got to get my face out of here. It's going to try and. Okay, here we go. That thing at the back are two subwoofers pointing towards each other in a reinforced base, and then a woofer on top in that tunnel, and then in the front we've got the mids. We've got one woofer on the bottom. It's a 4-way, and then two mids and an even longer ribbon AMT tweeter. So this thing's 650 pounds. These will compete with any 250,000 bullshit ass MDF speaker and crush. I have every intent. You guys keep doing what you're doing, giving me your support and buying, and I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you my word on this. When the time is right, we, the Hi-Fi Tribe, will come steal the show at one of the shows. Okay? It's not going to be these other brands that you're all used to seeing all the time, Wilson Focal, whoever, doing all their shit. We will come and do it in such a far more badass way than anybody has ever done it. These concepts I've had in my mind since 20 years ago when I used to go to Vegas. I'm like, I could do it so much better. I would do the room like this. I would do it like this. I would do this and this and this. And nobody's even doing it at that level. The thing is, it's kind of throwing money away. There's no ROI, but it would be fun to just show. It's just like, at some point you need to just get in the ring and knock a motherfucker out. Excuse my language again. But at some point you just have to do it. So we will steal a show before too long. If I go to Capitol, I may go to Capitol this year. What I will do at Capitol this year is show a system for under $20,000 that will be the most exotic, beautiful system in the show under $20,000. And if I go, I'm not too excited about exhibiting at shows. I'm not too, I mean, I love to see you guys, but you're open for people to just take pot shots at you and talk shit. And so I don't need it for my sales. Many brick and mortars need to go that don't have a YouTube channel. They have to go to that because it helps them find customers, but I don't need it. I don't need that for customers. I get my customers from doing what I'm doing right now. So, yeah, so those are the dimensions. They're big. Got to call Mikey for that Maggie tweak. Yeah, man, I got him in. I got him in. That's another thing that'll probably get eventually dropped to the wayside. That's something that I do for Magnapan people that it doesn't really, it's $150. Come on. I'm going to fucking go in the shop and work for $150. I don't do that anymore. And I don't mean to be rude. It's just I have to go with I have to do what I'm strongest at, not $10 an hour shit. It requires a starting point. Okay, so whatever. You're okay. People need to really learn to listen to speakers. What they need to learn, Stephen, is to listen to music. That's the thing. They need to listen to music. But I get what you're talking about. Although I think they need to listen to the music. Let me put it this way. If you can't listen to the music because you're listening to the speaker is not good enough. Okay, I'll say that again. If you need to listen to, if you can't not listen, wait, how did I say that? If you can't listen to the music because you're listening to the speaker, like if the speaker is throwing off something that is engaging your analytical brain, then it's not doing its job. It's not connecting you to the music. It's making itself known. Okay. Speakers do not make themselves known. You never want to be listening to speakers. You never want to be aware that you are listening to a speaker. You want to go into a room and forget there's speakers in the room. That's when they're good. You don't even realize there's speakers. The music is nowhere near the speaker. That's what's called, they say the speaker disappears because it's just music. So people need to understand that if you are listening to a speaker and you're triggered and you're in that mode, if you're listening to the speaker, you're listening to shit. It's not a good speaker. It's got you engaged in analysis because it's throwing artifacts. It's making itself known. Okay. That is not a good thing if you're listening to speaker. Speakers price. How does that go together? Price with amps. Which you talking about? Which ones? The ones I sold today? 570s that I sold today were 25 grand. The amp was 15,000. 200 watt. I haven't even told you guys about the amp. I've been slow dripping you guys Fisher & Fisher speakers this whole time. Next, I'm going to slow drip your ass the audio analog Class AB amplifiers, which are every bit of a Griffin or a freaking what are the other ones? Dan D'Agostino. Who else makes amps that are 250 watts per channel and fit in a regular? Viola Labs, man. I like Viola Labs. I'm about ready to do a comparison tomorrow with it too. And oh fuck! I just realized I needed to do that today before I packed those speakers up. Oh well. Anyways, I'm a 2-channel chump. So am I. No way. Oh, Gene and Marco, you're like, no way, you're not Gene. Man, I don't like you right now, Gene. What's that fucker's name, man? What's his name, man? I can't remember. You don't like Gene, huh? Whatever his name is, it's Italian, and DeMarco's Italian. So I think this other Gene has got an Italian name as well. So my apology if I offended you. Mikey, I use South Australian slate down here. Cool, buddy, for your turntable plinths, right? So think about how good slate is for resonance. If they use it as a turntable plinth, do I need to say any more? You think they as good as the PS Audio, dude? What, these speakers? Totally better, bro. How much? PS Audios are what, 35 grand for pair? Dude, you're under the ether. PS audio speakers are decent. They're not bad. They're made in China. I mean, are you proud of that? You proud that you got yourself a Chinese MDF speaker that sounds good? Is that what you're proud of? It's not what I'm proud of. You could get what's that other one? That other speaker from China that's too expensive for a friggin' Chinese made thing. It's also, I think theirs are 25 grand per listen. Do what you want, man. That's what I say. Do what you want. Don't listen to me, man. Do what you want, but I can shorten the time for you. Magnapan says true ribbon on 3/7i is brighter than the quasi ribbon on 1/7i. It is. And 1 ohm resistor is standard. No, that's bullshit. Do you agree? No, I don't. Would you sometimes use a 0.5 ohm or 1 ohm resistor? My room or gear is neutral. I never ever used a resistor. In fact, I needed more. The ribbons never even gave me enough. I needed to modify Magnapans to make them more clear because they're dull from the factory. So 3.7s to me are dull from the factory. They are not bright. So maybe their ears are much more sensitive than mine. Good night. Good night, Danny. Hit that thumbs up button. Yeah, hit the thumbs up, whatever. Freaking subscribe. I'm beyond asking you guys all the time for that bullshit. You know what you need to do. Too expensive. Get a metal Vincent over custom. Asked what Black Shadow was. Danger. Huh? Yeah, Black Shadows are expensive. We'll do. I'll call, man. Good day, Martin. We need to catch up, mate. Yeah, you guys do. Are you still in touch with Jay's Audio Lab? What do you mean in touch with? What is that? What do you mean? Yeah, explain yourself. OCD is a good guy. Thank you, Steven. Appreciate that. Tad, not value. What is Porsche 911? Not value. Fuck no, it's not a value. Quality is a component of value. Value versus a cost are different things. Are you, Brandon, are you actually going to make an argument that Porsche 911 is a value? It's a fucking not value. It's totally fucking overpriced. It's bullshit. It's a great fucking car, but it's ridiculously priced. You pay a premium price for a premium product. A Porsche is not trying to give value, okay? A Corvette is, okay? Learn to get it straight, bro. I'm not saying that it's, were you listening? I said the TAD speaker is the best speaker I've ever heard. It is the number one, the R1, 160 grand. Best speaker I've ever heard. Okay. Is it a value? Fuck no, it's not a value. It's $160 fucking $1,000. That's not a fucking value. That's a premium. I've got, let's listen to my $180,000 speakers and compare them to that. Then we can talk about value, dude. Do you understand what value is? You're making a pissant argument. You're talking about quality. Quality is not a value. Quality and value have a span. You either get, here's how it goes. You either get quality or you get value, typically, right? It's one of the two. Or if you're lucky, you find something in the Goldilocks zone, which is what I call it, and you find something that is great quality and actually has a fucking value, okay? Porsche is not that brand. Go try and buy a fucking good 911. They're, what, 140, 150 for an S? 200 if you really want to get a good one? Holy shit, dude. Look at how much the used ones are. Okay, what Porsche is a good example of is resale value, okay? Does Porsche sell for half price used? I don't think so. Depends how many miles are on it. But anyways, so yeah, no, TAD is not a value, bro. And they would not be upset. I've had discussions with the distributor, and he's like, TAD is not a value. They're not trying to be a value, okay? So it's not a value. It's a premium. Do you understand the difference between premium and value? There are many people out there that do not have a problem paying a premium for the best product out there. And so that's the way their product is priced, in that realization that we are the best. So we will charge a lot of fucking money for what we have. And then you get to the stuff like the Wilsons that are 365, and then you completely lose all respect for the brand. You're just like, okay, I see what you guys are doing. It's like, it's just like, okay, whatever. You're on that trip. So, hey, Play Mikey's outstanding. Play Mikey's outstanding for your Maggies. It's expensive, but it's worth every penny. Ask him about it. He'll tell you. I don't know what that means. Anyone remember Hale's Design Group Revelation 3 speakers? I'm still using mine since 1998. Tremendous value. I paid $1,900 for them. Wow. Yeah. See, back in the day, man, you could get some shit. Like back in the day, for 20 grand, think of what you could get for 20 grand back in the day, or even 10 grand back in the day. You used to get killer stuff. So true. Magico doesn't discount new models. Magico doesn't, but the dealers do. Magico doesn't discount from current MSP. Again, Magico doesn't allow it. But what dealers do is they get third-party guys to sell them used, but they're not used, okay? I can go buy Magico for half price, bro. Shall we open AudioGone right now and see what Magico's selling for? Let's see. And then you're going to say, well, they're used. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I say you want to buy Magico or you want to buy something half price, buy them used. What the dealers do, and this is a little thing that David doesn't understand, is David believes that because Magico says there's no discounting, that no discounting happens. So the truth of this matter is Magico says there's no discounting available. So what the dealers do is the dealers find third-party guys that broker their shit. There's a group of these third-party guys that comb AudioGone. There's sellers on AudioGone, sellers on US Audio Mart, and then they'll switch guys around. So it's not the same person all the time. So they circumvent the whole deal. The dealer doesn't get in trouble because the dealer's not selling it. The dealer says, I sold that thing. Shit, look at my books. I sold that thing last year or whatever. And Magico, how's Magico going to find out? They're not going to know. As far as Magico knows, that dealer sold it to another party. That other party put it on the used market and sold it used. They're going to say used in perfect condition, blah, 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 blah. And they're new. Okay. And that's how they do it. So there's a little insight into that number. And that is total disrespect for the brand. So when you find things that are sealed, that middlemen, okay, if you find a product that is in a sealed box that is from a middleman who is not an authorized dealer, and it's at a discount, that is like a red herring. Is red herring the proper term? That is an indication that this person bought it from the dealer who is the authorized seller. The dealer is desperate and needs money, probably because they're either they overspend or they're undercapitalized. Well, either way, they're undercapitalized. And so they're desperate. So they sell it to a third party, and then that third party puts it out for sale, brand new, inbox, ready to go, half price, but no warranty. Okay. You're not going to get warranty on that shit. If you can, even better. Now, some companies are so big that they don't police their stuff. Magico is probably a little smaller. They probably are tighter on it. Other companies like Synergistic Research, for instance, no way you're discounting that shit and getting away with it. You'll get busted so fast it'll make your head spin. Okay. And it's the same like with certain, anyway, so there's two, but you get something like another brand like an Audio Research or a Macintosh or a Focal or something like that. That's just a huge brand. There's too much product in the field for them to keep tabs on it. So thanks, man. So yeah, we can find Magico on discount. F&F my forever fucking speakers. Thank Mikey. Yeah. Oh, there he is. Ted. Ted's the guy that bought today, man. Say hi to Ted, man. He's a proud new owner. Ted bought the whole damn rig. He bought everything except for the front end because the guy the day before bought the front end. So the MPD-8 and the streamer went the day before. And then today, the audio analog amp and the two speakers and then an audio analog DAC and the MLabs NS1 streamer all went today. So Charles is going to flip his lid, bro. You're going to when you get that hooked up in your home and you play it, Charles is going from 0 to 60. So Charles, Ted, whatever, is coming from not having a rig, basically having a very basic rig. He listened to my channel. He came over and listened to the rig. He's like, look, man, I'm a believer. I'm going to get the whole thing. So he's going from 0 to 60. He's never going to have to buy another rig. This rig will last him the rest of his life. He's going from not having a rig and wanting a rig to buying a complete system. And maybe he does an upgrade to the DAC, or the streamer could be the only other thing really that would make a difference. Otherwise, he's already at the top of the food chain. And the DAC that you have right now is a sleeper. It is so good for $5,000. Talk about Dangerous Music Source DAC Pre. How does it compare into PS Audio? Okay, so let me put it this way. Dangerous Music is used in music production. It's used in recording studios. It's used by Grammy award-winning producers. PS Audio is not, that I know of. Take your pick. The stuff that's used by the professionals or the stuff that's pushed by Paul. I don't like PS Audio. Okay, I already told you that. I go to their website and I read their marketing and I'm like, I don't like this company. That's another thing. You talk about intent. What is a company's intent? Well, go and read their website. Read how they market. I can tell you instantly what a company's about by reading their marketing. I can tell you if they think I'm a dumbass and they're fluffing me by the way they write their shit. It's either a fluff stroke job or it's straight to the point. A perfect example, go to Pass Labs. No bullshit. There's a site that's no bullshit. They're not trying to fluff job you. Then go to Focal. You're going to get a stroke job. Okay. So, and I went to PS Audio and I read some of their stuff. And I'm like, nope, not my company. And then I had the DAC here, Direct Stream DAC. I compared it to some things I had. It wasn't that great. It was $6,000, but everybody, Underwood Wally was selling it any day of the week for $3,000 on his website. So it's like, you just realize what brands are kind of hoard out redheaded stepchildren. And PS Audio is a hoard out redheaded stepchild to me. I'm sorry. I think Paul's a nice guy. I think the company's been around a long time. He's been very successful. He deserves respect for sure. But the product is just a hoard thing. It's just a loose, it's not exclusive enough for me. It's not cared for. Nobody loves it enough. I like brands that are taken care of. It's like a baby. A brand is like a little brand new baby. And do you take care of that baby, or do you just hand it off to any babysitter and just give it to somebody in the crowd and just, so how people treat the brand is another indicator of if that brand is respected. Okay. If a dealer is selling boxes of shit brand new out the back to a middleman to just flush it out into the marketplace, that is lack of respect. That is a non-respected brand. So if you find that sealed box from a third party, being sold at discount, that thing is not respected at all. They are trashing that brand. They don't give a shit about it. Nobody cares about it because it's a stepchild. It's like an orphan. It's sitting there. That doesn't happen with products that people care about because they wouldn't let them out like that. They wouldn't sell them out the back door. They wouldn't whore them. That's whoring a product. You're giving it to somebody that's not a dealer that is fucking selling it. So that is bad for the brand. That is your guys' indicator. Okay, well, if I see these things over here like this, that's your indicator of brands that there's no respect for. That's a stripper. It's just being handed from man to man to man, for their purposes to use, But when a product is really good, we actually care about it. We're like, we don't want to sell it to somebody that's going to mistreat it, whereas those other brands get sold to indiscriminately. Anybody can have them. They get sold to anybody, and then there's other brands that are not that way. So PS Audio, not my thing. Marvin Haywood, what's up? Benucci, Magicos are handmade one pair at a time after they're purchased. Okay, you want me to dig into, what you're doing, David, I know you're trying to stand up for Magical because you have them, but what the result of what you're saying is going to be me going for Magico's throat. I feel like I'm being teased and tempted to tear Magico's throat out and shake the trachea in front of you, dripping blood, to show you, because I'll tear that brand down. It's not going to take long. All I have to do is show you the pricing and show you it's how is it handmade? It's poured by a machine, isn't it? Cast aluminum, or is it hand put together and bolted? Maybe they're what are their top of the line? $750,000. Shall we start with you want to tell me how a speaker's worth $750,000? I'll listen. I don't think there's any way anybody could make an argument for a $750,000 speaker. You know, we can get the top level Porsche for, well, unless it's for $250, we can get a GT2. I think we get a GT2, a turbo, which is a turbo GT3. We get a GT2 for, oh no, those are more like 400, I think. Maybe they're 300. So you could have two of those, you know, three of those. There's no rationale. There's no freaking rationale. So Magico is, I get that you like them, David. And I know that they sound good in your room. I'm not even talking about their sound. I'm talking about a company that sells $750,000 speakers. They're out for me. The second I know they sell a $750,000 speaker, they're one of those fuckers. Okay. That's the way I look at people at companies. Okay. And I'm not trying to, I'm sharing you how I speak in my own head when I see a $750,000. I use those terms. Oh, one of those fuckers. That's all I think. And I dismiss them. The brand is now completely dismissed, completely written off for me. You make a $750,000 speaker, you're written off. You serve Chinese billionaires and you don't give a shit. You're just gouging. You're just it's blatant opportunism. Do I want to get in bed with a woman that is a blatant opportunist? No, I don't. Okay. So do I want to buy from a brand, from a company that is blatant opportunism with their pricing of their speakers? Just like it's blatant, it's gross, it's sick. I can't warm up to Magical. I never will. Plus the fact that I've never heard them sound good at every show that I've been to. I've listened to every Magical. I've never heard them sound good. They sound harsh and detailed. Now, it could be that they don't team them with the proper amplifiers, right, David? Because at your house, you've got them teamed with Nat Audio, Magma News, phenomenal amplifiers. Before that, you had Nat Audio. You've had transmitter, the generators. So you've had Nat tubes both times. When you first contacted me, you weren't happy with the sound. I said, I have the sneaking suspicion Magical being so forward and sharp is probably going to go well with a tube amp. Okay, that was just in my understanding of Magical, which is like this much. Like I don't know the brand. All I know is that they don't sound good to me when I listen to them. So that's how I have to make a judgment call. You know, Legacy is another one. You know, everybody talks about it. You see it in the magazine ads all the time. I've never heard Legacy blow me away. I go to the shows all the time. So I'm glad that you dig them, and you know they should be proud that they've got such a guy in the field that defends them. But Magico is with how their pricing, they're not going to get on my good side. Plus, there's certain sellers. Okay, here's another thing. There's certain sellers that when they handle it, I'm like, definitely not my brand, because I know the people that are handling it. Okay. Sometimes it's unfortunate. Sometimes good brands get into people's hands where you're like, bummer, you know, they have poor representation. But maybe good representation for people that are into S&M and being dominated, you know, or whatever. We're talking about the mindset. Looking for a DAC in this price range for my office system. What is this price range? Dangerous Music Source. Oh, that's $1,000. A source is like $1,000. Is that what we're talking about? If you're, yeah, okay. Keep in mind that the Dangerous Source has no remote control. So if you don't mind walking up to it and turning it, you don't mind it looking like you know, kind of pro audio with headphone jacks and shit. There is no better DAC for $1,000 that I know of. I'm not saying MDF is better. I was just replying to your statement about using glues between two pieces of wood. I'm not saying one is better than the other. Using glues between two pieces of wood is what Rockport does. They use a viscoelastic damping layer. So I could squirt silicone sealer in between two pieces of wood, and it's a viscoelastic damping layer. It's glue. That's what I'm talking about. Now they're going to use that, and they're going to You know, it's the same thing. It's the fluffing, the marketing that I'm talking about. I could use a screw to hold something, and I could call it a torsionally rigid fastening device, right? And then a cow chewing its cud, not aware of anything but farting. Oh, a torsionally accurate twisting fastening device. I'm going to spend more money for that. And you're like, dude, it's a screw. You know, this is what we do in the industry. We bullshit you, man. And MDF is shit. Okay. There's no two ways around it. It's a shit material. Okay. Does it sound good? Yes. Is it anti-resonant? Yeah, it works like that. You know, is it even no voids all the way across everywhere on that 4x8 sheet? Is it all going to be the same density if we measure all the way across the 4x8 sheet? Yes. Okay. That's good for commercial shit. It's good for floor underlayment. It's good for shit like that. It's a commercial product. There's nothing beautiful about it. Okay. Slate is beautiful. Okay. In my opinion, it's a beautiful natural thing. So it's just two different things. Okay. Why does Big J have the best mega stereo? That's so funny. So best is a relative. That's a relative thing. And you know, I mean, do I have to even answer this? First of all, this is a troll comment. You're trying to trigger me. So I'm not going to respond to it. You know what Jay's shtick is. His shtick is the most expensive shit. If you want to see the most expensive shit, you go to Jay's channel and you're going to see the most expensive shit. Ridiculously retarded level shit. Okay. That's his thing. His thing is to show you that. Okay. Nobody else does that. So Jay has that little angle cornered. That's good for him. Bravo. You know, that's why Jay has the crazy system, is because your ass can't afford it. So the only way your ass is ever seeing it is Jay's channel. You can't even see that shit unless you go to Jay's channel. So that's how Jay gets your clicks, because your ass can't afford it. Your ass can't even go see it, because the dealers would suss you out before you came in. They would know how much you'd have to make an appointment with them. And many dealers don't even have the level that Jay has, because the dealers are too cheap to put that level into their thing. So Jay is a place where you can see shit that you would never see because you're not special enough. Okay. So you go to his channel. He is special enough. Okay. P.S. It's a minimum $800. It's a minimum. I don't know what that is. To fix, no matter the problems. Oh, yeah. Oh, PS Audio? Is that what you're saying? At PS Audio, it's a minimum of $800 to fix something that's broken, no matter what it is, regardless. That's if that's what you're saying, that's pretty heavy duty. Aloha, Dan. What's up, brother? Yeah, Wilson, maybe Chinese will buy it. I was talking about furniture when you mentioned furniture. Okay. They won't buy MDF furniture. Okay. I don't really care about that. What are my thoughts on Baltic birch plywood as cabinet material? It's great. I like it. I like Baltic birch. When I build shit, I build it out of Baltic birch. And you need to find the A grade Baltic birch plywood. You know, the stuff that it not necessarily just the void free shit, you know, the stuff doesn't have knots in it. How are the F&F SN70 on the shelf backed up against a wall? I don't know. I've never listened to them that way. But I would imagine they're fine because they have a front port. So with a front port, any speaker that has a front port, you can push it up against a wall usually. It's not the best idea ever. But if you're going to do it, a front port is the best for that. They won't work against the wall because they're ported at the back. Incorrect. They are front ported. As far as I remember, let me look right now. Okay, let's see. Where am I? Okay, girl, I'm looking. What happened? Fisher. Yeah, here we go. Wait. Come on. Okay. Yeah, they're front ported. So what are you talking about? So here's how you guys get misinformation. You listen to guys like Hobbs Groove, who sounds like he knows what's going on, but he's got no fucking clue. They're ported on the front. They're not ported at the back. So, man, I ask you people, please know what the fuck you're saying before you say it. Because you know what's going to happen? You're going to misinform people. And because you talk like you know what you're doing, some people that aren't very street smart might not they'll believe you. They're not going to disbelieve. Like somebody that's street smart doesn't believe anybody when they start off. Everybody starts off, you're full of shit. And then you have to make me convince me you're not full of shit, right? But if you're maybe not so street smart, you believe people right off the cuff, right? So they would believe Hobbs Groove goes into, somewhere in Audiogon or somewhere else, and he starts spouting off shit like this. And then people think he knows what he's talking about. So they go, oh, I'm going to take Fisher and Fisher out of my search because they're ported at the back. You guys need to watch out for dudes like this. You need to check. This is called checking, doing the check, doing the background check, whatever you call it. What is it? Fact checking, right? So many people just don't know what they're talking about. They are front ported. Look, Chris to the rescue, brother. Right on, Chris. So Chris would straighten his ass out in the forum. I wouldn't be there because I come unglued in forums, man. I can't go to forums, Tad's website quotes Clad with CNC. Okay, so here's another thing. Clad. Clad is a very specific process, okay? So clad typically indicates a very thick veneer or a very thick layer of metal. Typically, I've only clad, we could look it up, but I think it means covered. It means covered with, okay? With CNC processed veneer panels, okay? So robot cut veneer panels glued to laminated MDF. Okay, see, so look, exactly what I'm talking about. Laminated MDF means 2 layers, okay? Because they're lam. A lam is when you put 2 things together. You lam it up, right? So it's better to lam things. They're stronger when you laminate them. If you're making a beam and you make a lam beam, it's always stronger than like a 2x12. A lam beam is going to be much stronger. So laminated is good, but MDF. So medium density fiberboard panels, bent is the word, my Japanese friends, using high frequency hot pressing. Okay, so high frequency hot pressing. What does that mean? See, so it sounds super important, doesn't it? And maybe it is. Maybe they have a machine that is $1 million machine that mixes high frequency noise or sound vibration, which is what I would imagine. It's a vibration hot press. Okay. So hot press indicates that it's moldable. Okay. That indicates that it is something that you can heat up and bend. Okay. So hence our little glue thing. It's a polymer. It's sawdust with polymer. So you add vibration and heat to a certain degree and you can bend that shit, right? You can make cool bends in it, which other people can't do. Extreme pressure and heat and vibration, probably. So what they're telling you is it's a veneered MDF, but they got a badder ass machine than everybody else. Unless other people are pitching high frequency hot pressing as well, then they got the same machine. Okay. So, and this is where you get into the exclusive reasons why somebody can charge more is because they have the badass high frequency hot press machine. Okay. The other guy doesn't, but he's trying to charge the same price. Hey man, that machine is whatever, $1 million in order to do that. And they made the investment. Again, it tells you about the intention of the company. The company was willing to whatever. In the case of a big company, they just write a check. In the case of a small company, they make a loan and they get a high frequency hot pressing machine. I can tell you my local speaker guy definitely does not have a high frequency hot pressing machine for MDF. I've never seen one. I've never even heard of it. So it's probably pretty specialized and probably pretty badass and cool and probably more than $1 million. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe high frequency hot pressing means they do $1 million every 10 minutes, right? That could be high frequency too. So we don't know what context they're using the word high frequency. It could mean high volume. It could mean vibration. I'm thinking it's vibration because they need to move material. So I'm thinking they want to heat it and vibrate it and press it, and it would assist. The vibration would assist in the moving of that material and shifting it under heat. So, does Wilson have a high frequency hot pressing? When you look at Wilson's, they're all straight like this. They have curved aluminum and stuff, but all the sides, they have bevel cuts on them and stuff, but they're all pretty much boxy, straight things like that. So, but when you look at Tad's, they're round, right? So that's how they get those shapes. So it's interesting. Offer him some Wilson's. Laughing my ass off. I love it. Ignore that sack. Yeah, I know. Gray sack is gone. He's not even around anymore. Drum sack treats drums like women, men. Yeah, exactly. He's whoever it is. Call him one ball. Uh-oh, he's getting hammered. Need to charge him for counseling. Yeah, Mikey, make them trolls your biatches. Well, after a while, it just becomes sport. I'm like, goody. I got a live one. I get a toy with them. It's like a cat that sees a mouse. You want to just bat it around a little bit and let it, do its thing, but you're not killing it. You're just batting it around. So when I get trolls, I get a little bit excited because it's fun to bat them around. I want to watch Spinal Tap with Mikey on his system. We would turn the volume up to 11. You know it, man. That's why it's 11 stereo too and everything. If my amps were vaporware by your statement, then why was my room 511 after I removed from the show? I don't know, David. I thought it was the power products that you were bringing to the show. I didn't know it was amps. I thought it was power conditioners. You go, Mikey. Thanks, David. I know. Mikey's on fire. Yeah, I know. I get a little hot under the collar sometimes. Thanks, spoken so eloquently. I know. I'm a hack. About you selling your reference system for 20 grand. No, I didn't sell the what the $20,000 was for the system that I'm putting in. If I go to Capital Audio Fest this year, I will get that same room and I will make an audio system, a complete system that will be the best system under 20 in the whole show. I will take that ribbon, that title. I'll have best system under 20 grand. I'm confident of it. Okay. That's what I will do. I will not try and do anything bigger. Okay. Because it's a pain in the ass. The other thing that I would do is get a big room and bring my Fisher and Fishers and the giant tubes, which will freak everybody's ass out and it'll steal the show. Nobody's got tubes like that. I will steal the show with those tube amps. And the Fisher and Fisher Granite speakers. There's no way it wouldn't steal the show. But that's so much work and all for what? All for what? And the expense of what it would cost me, it's just for what? For people to come in and try and say that something isn't good enough for them, to somehow use it to make fun of me. The system I sold today, the reference system that was in there, the speakers alone were 25. The amp was 15. Then he got a different DAC. The DAC was $5 grand, and the streamer was $4,500. So he spent, 50, just under 50 grand, 45, because there's a Puritan Audio Labs one in there. And then yesterday the guy got the MPD8 in the streamer, so that was another 35. That was me being angry at you. Okay, yeah, you missed because you misunderstood. Met Ranger, value aside, Ken, Fisher and Fisher 770s compete with the Rockport Lyras and new Ryans. Or is that not a fair comparison? I don't know. Value aside. Okay, so we're not talking about value. I would have to look at what Rockport Lyra is and see, because I heard some. The other day, and I think those were Lyras. And I'm typing in for sale. so we can see what's out there for sale. Okay. Audiophilia product of the year? Are you kidding me? Is that the Audiophiliac? Like he gives out product of the year awards? Love you, Stevie. But I mean, you're just a YouTube guy, right? You give out product of the year to people. Okay, so Rockport Laya looks like we got 2 8s, 2 6s, and a 2. Is it even that? Okay, so this is, and okay, so Rock Lyra. Those things look like pretty sweet speakers, but am I getting that they're 169,500? I see something from 2017, okay, that says Rockport Lyras. Okay, I'm looking at it right now. Cast aluminum. Okay. So they cast it. So there's the handmade thing that Davey's saying. If Magico does the same thing, it's cast. It's a big machine that pours liquid aluminum in there. That's not handmade. That's totally machine made. Okay, so the Lyra's here. It looks like, oh, and it's so when I'm looking at Absolute Sound and I'm reading about the Lyra right here, when they describe what it sounds like, I want to puke. I swear to God, I want to puke. It's like, why do they waste their time describing it like that? And that's what you guys use to buy from, is what these guys go fucking listen. You need to listen to it. You can't, you're just going to buy from what somebody wrote? Are you nuts? What does this say? It's got a 15-inch compared to Rockport's Altair and its side firing 15. The Lyra's bass is faster, lighter. 210s. Okay. So the 210s, so maybe it's okay, specs and pricing. 170,000. Okay, these compete with the top of the line Fisher & Fisher, not 770s, but 1,000-point ones, okay? The new ones that I'm getting, okay? So that's what I'm saying. I should price these higher. $80,000. They're half the price of the Rockport, and they will absolutely compete with them. And they will absolutely compete with them. That's all I can say at this point. I'm not going to speculate anything else. The speakers, these are 560. The Fisher & Fishers are an extra 100 pounds. They're 650 pounds. Sensitivity, the Fisher & Fisher is more sensitive. I think it's a 94 or a 95 dB versus 90 dB. 4 ohm, Fisher & Fisher is a 4 ohm. 20 hertz to 30K at -3, it's like the same spec. Okay, 10-inch carbon fibers, 2 6-inches carbon. Okay, if we're doing woofer count when we're comparing the Lyra, if this is the same build, because I'm looking at like this thing's from 2017, so they were 169. How much are they now? 250. This is from 2017. It's and they're 170 at this point. Okay, so two 10-inch sandwich composite woofers. Okay, so we get the same 2 10-inch carbon fiber composite woofers in the Fisher & Fishers. Then we get an extra 10-inch woofer on the top, and then we get an 8-inch woofer on the front. So we get those 2 extra woofers, and then we get double 6.5-inch carbon fiber sandwich composite mid-ranges. So we get that from the Lyra. And then one beryllium dome. We don't get that. We get a 6-inch long air motion tweeter made by Mundorf. So there's potential. You get more drivers, for whatever that means. We get 1, 2, 2 more. We get 2 more woofers than this thing does. My guess is by looking at the Lyra and looking at least from this picture, my feeling is the Fisher & Fisher has stronger mid-bass punch than the Lyras. That would be my feeling, just because of the extra woofers. These guys have 10s and 6s, whereas what I have has 10s 8s and 6s, or 7 7.25 in inches. So those 7s are going to make the mid range, the mid base, and then they have 6.5s dedicated to mids, whereas the Lyra's got the mid base happening out of those 6s along with the mid range, so they're doing double duty. It's the Lyra's a 3-way, mine's a 4-way. So I would say you get, with the Fisher and Fishers, you get a lot more for half the price. That is my guess, but I can't say that. All I can say is, what it looks like. Okay, Gene, we'll talk tomorrow, brother. No, it's got not good to be made. China. PS Audio could take the hit and have them built in America. Wouldn't be that expensive considering the shipping and other costs in the environment. Yeah, I agree, but nobody's willing to do that because they want the extra money that they make from buying them over there. TAD CE1TX seem worth every cent. They are worth every cent. Okay, a Porsche is worth every cent too. But just because something is worth every cent does not make it a value. It just means it's worth it. It just means you're not getting ripped off. But look at CE1TX, $34,000. The speakers I have on my floor right now that just got sold today are 25 grand. They kick the fucking shit out of the CE1TX. Fucking murder them. Murder. Absolute fucking murder of that stand mount monitor. Those are, and I'm saying this, those are the best stand mount monitors I've ever fucking heard. Without a question. They are my favorite monitors, any size, stand mount or not. They're my favorite monitors ever made. They're amazing sounding. They have it's a 2-way design, isn't it? I'm trying to know. It's a 3-way design because they have a dual concentric. With a what is that thing? A 6.5 or something, or a 7-inch woofer. I've got dual 8s on the Fishers right now, dual 6s and 6.5s, and a mid range, and a wideband tweeter. 300 pounds versus 70 pounds. They murder the CE1TX. So while the CE1TX is worth every cent, look what you can get for 25 with Fisher and Fisher. There is you can't compare the value. It's unfair. The CE1TX is a premium. It's again the best monitor I've ever heard. That's why I sell them. If they weren't worth it, and they weren't in some way worth it. If they were a ripoff, I wouldn't sell them. I couldn't sell them. They're not a ripoff. But then there's other things that actually have a wicked value. Fisher and Fisher is one of those. No doubt about it. Paul is great, but PS Audio is mid-fi at best. That's my sentiments exactly. If the TAD R1 sounds better than very expensive, good sounding speakers like Tidal, then they are a value. Yes. Sure, dude. If you're trying to make the argue for that, I can. Do you want me to come up with something? If it'll make you feel better for me to tell you that 160 grand is a value, then sure. I'll compared to the $1 million, compared to Borison's, TAD is a total value. Compared to what do you want to? But how is TAD R1 a value when we compare it to the Fisher and Fishers? Now it's not looking like such a value. So it all depends on how we argue it, brother. And after all my time and talking with the fucking importer, he said to me that they're not after value, not trying to be a value. Okay. This is the importer for TAD telling me the speakers are not a value proposition. They're not going after a value. They're not trying to be a value. Okay. So get the word out of your head. Don't associate the word value with TAD. Just drop it. It's not a fucking value. It's a premium, and it's a premium product with a premium price. Why can't you accept that? Just swallow it. I don't understand why it's so hard. Everybody keeps wanting to pitch me and tell me that the TAD's a value. It's not after that. That's not their intent. Remember, we got to talk about intent. They're not pricing those with value in mind. They're not at all. They're pricing it with what is the most we can get for these things that's fair. That's the most they can get for that. They couldn't get $1 fucking more. That would be fair. That is the fair price. They have them priced as high as they possibly can without being unfair. So what you're saying is the TAD R1 is not a fucking value. It's fair price. Okay, so understand. TAD is fair price. Fisher & Fisher is value. Don't get the two convoluted because they're very different things with different intentions. Holy shit, these people. I've heard they don't sound quite as good as the Rockport Lyras or Orions. What is they? I'm the only one with Fisher & Fisher in the United States. So who are we talking about? But Rockport Lyra has 2 cast aluminum inners. Orion 1, who cares about beauty? It's the sound I'm paying for. How much money do you got, Met Ranger? What are you going to spend on speakers? What are the new brands should everyone need to check out? Can you name a few? I'm not into new brands. No, there's not enough time under their belt. It's a risk. New brands are risky. I don't take the risk with my customers. I find brands that have been around, that are established, that have been 20, 30, 40 years, because I know they're going to be around. Being in this industry as long as I have, you have no clue how many new brands I see that are not here next year. So I would not do that to my customers. So I don't swim in the new brands. Some of the cheap audio man maybe is a good guy to check out, you know, but new brands are not, they don't get my attention. They have to be around at least 5 years before I even check them out. Will I ever consider Klipsch? No. Heard a pair of Klipsch horns and they impressed me. Cool. Buy some. Thought he was talking about the model you had. I don't know them. Yeah, 770 is not the model I have. The model I have is the 1000. Look, I don't know what model speaker he was talking about. I assumed he was talking about the model you have. Simple mistake everybody makes. Okay, cool. Not a bad being full of shit. I mean, if you want to go down that road, we don't have to. It's about making mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Okay, cool. No problem, man. I'm not on a forum trying to discuss something. Really, man, you take the biscuit. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, let's go back. You don't know. You assumed he was talking about the model you have. Okay, the model I have is front ported. There is no rear ported Fisher & Fisher. The woofers are not rear ported on any of them. So if you assumed it was the speaker that I have, the model that I have, then you would see a big port right in the front. So anyways, I'm just, so I got it was a mistake. Don't worry about it, man. It's all good. No, dude, only people who don't research before they type make mistakes. Right. All I say is I thought you were talking about the model where he had in his room. Quite simple. Yeah, the model that I have in my room is front ported as well. It's a generic knowledge that I was describing. Doesn't matter who the brand is. You're right. Typically, the port is in the back, but that reflects off the front wall. The port in the back makes the speaker harder to place. The port in the front is much better. So front porting, if you're going to have a port, you want it on the front for sure. He mentioned the model before you typed your response. Yeah. Hello, Mike. I have a question for you or two. I got JBL M2s. Hope you know what they are. I don't. I'm sorry. And driving the compression driver with the Mark 11 332 780 hertz and up. Sounds great, man. I love the old stuff. Stop trying to dig it a bigger hole. Yeah. Night, Mikey. Talk tomorrow. See you, Martin. I don't know what the model is, though. Let's move on. Yeah, let's move on. No problem. Well, I got S4 channel driving the lower end 2 JBL subs. How important would it be to get a second Mark Lev for the lower end on the speaker? What's the 4 channel? You know, I mean, how are you going to ask me that question and not tell me what the 4 channel amp is? Come on, brother. There it is. Okay. 4 channel QSC Class D. Oh, fuck yeah, dude. A Mark Levinson is going to crush that thing. Common mistake that people make is let's use Class D because it's not important and we'll put it on our subs because it makes so much power so easily and it doesn't, and I get 1,000 watts on my subs with Class D. You could put a 50-watt Class A amp like a Mark Levinson that would kick the shit out of 1,000 watt just because of the current and the grip and the power supply on those old Mark Levinson amps, the Class A. I'm imagining you're talking 332, I think sounds like an old Class A. I used one day I had 500 watts per channel on some 15-inch subs, Class D. And the amp I had lent to somebody, and I needed to put another amp on my 15-inch sub. So I put in a 50 watt per channel Class A stereo amp. This bass was so much better. I shit myself. I'm like, I always thought you didn't put the Class A amp on the bass. Now I'll put Class A on bass because I know what it does with bass, and it's amazing. So Class D thing for me, after being around it, it's fading. It's fading out. I'm becoming less and less a fan of Class D. As I go on. Um, it's just the truth. Audiophilia is a guy from the UK named Anthony. Oh, that guy. Oh, spoken to him on live streams. He has a zine call. Okay, I got you. I bought my first expensive speaker cable. I use PS Audio statement, but we're going to get it next week. I can't buy wire the tweeter, but I could reverse the cable and buy wire the amp side. That doesn't make sense to me. I would buy Monacoustics Platimon VC speakers over Rockport Lyras at a tenth the price. There you go. They're made out of metal. Good stuff. I like him too. That's a good guy too. So the Monacoustic guy, Young, I think is his name. Is that his name? That guy's good shit, man. The guy that imports, that's cool people. So I would buy from him any day of the week, man. That dude is going to do you right. He's a good guy. Can you get better performance on a higher price, less value pair of speakers? Can you get better performance? Versus a lower price on a higher value speaker. Well, it depends where you are in the line. Okay, I'm talking about the Orion, the Lyre. Great user reviews and only 133K. Well, I don't know. I mean, yes, of course you can get a better performance on a higher price, less value. I mean, look at Wilson, the poster child. Like I can do half the price and kick its ass. I can do half the price and kick its ass with Magico. I can do half the price and kick its ass with almost any of those big name speakers. So yeah, I can beat it for half the cost. Okay, that's the thing. So do you think the LRS Plus are still solid speakers in stock form? Absolutely, man. They're great little speakers, and there is no better deal. To me, it depends on the sound quality. If 160K speaker sounds better than a 400K speaker, then it's a value. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, sure, if we take it into, what if that 160K speaker is made out of paper? What if it's a pile of dog shit with a woofer stuck on top of it, and it sounds better than a 400K speaker? Should you is it a value at 160K? Okay, let's make it more realistic. Let's say we've got I make a speaker out of plastic. It cost me $5 to make it, and it sounds better than a 400K speaker. Is that plastic that sounds better than a 400K speaker for 160K that cost me $5? Is it a value at that point? What do you think? That's where I'm going with this. On the 770s, aren't the ports on the mids box and upper woofer box back ported? Those are mids, yes. So the low frequency, he's talking about low frequency, a woofer porting. The mid-range, there is no low frequency coming out there. And their ports, they're not ports. They don't chuff air out of them. They are open, so there's a back wave, but they're a periodic tuning ports. If you want to, it's for a periodic tuning. You make it's not sealed. Okay, it's a tube, and then you put stuff in it, like acoustic material in it, in different amounts to tune the speaker, and it comes out the back. So yeah, and those are the big speakers. Nobody puts big speakers really up against walls. You shouldn't, and that's up to your dealer to do. But the smaller speakers, they're all sealed on back. And the monitors, it's really stupid to port monitors on the back. That's stupid because bookshelf monitor, everybody puts them on a bookshelf. What do I think about the Class D? Holy shit, is it really this time? I've been on almost 3 hours. What the hell, dude? What do you think about Class XD? I don't even know what it is. Well, when I watched you on the floor, standard speakers, you had the mid-ranges are ported. Yes. I haven't seen any other ones you've got by that make. Yeah, I mean, the mid-ranges do have ports on the back, but it's not the same as a woofer port. It doesn't chuff air. You can put your hand on it. You don't feel air chuffing out. It's not like that. So I just assume when you can that you don't want that up against the wall. You don't want that up against the wall. You're just going to ruin what it's intended to do. But no one puts big speakers against the wall. So anyways, okay, we're dropping it, right? I got it. I think we got it. How do you find good Class A power amps among so many? I don't think there are so many, actually. Are there posted technical measurements anywhere on the complete Fisher lineup? Yep, on the website. To me, value is a factor based upon price and performance. Some people are looking for the value is a factor of price and performance. Some people are looking for the best system they can get, but would also love to pay less and obtain the same performance. That is my customer, okay? My customer are people with the means that don't want to get taken because they have the means. There are sellers out there that, again, have contempt for wealthy people. And they want to fuck them in a little way. They want to say, well, someone's going to do it, so I might do it, and they're not going to feel it. They rationalize it because they say, this guy loses. It won't matter to him. He makes so much money that I can rip him off, and it doesn't care. He could lose 500 grand in a day and not give a shit. So I might as well make him lose it, right? So that's the argument that I'm making here. Some companies price shit to try and take advantage of the wealthy. Okay, I would say like $365,000, $400,000 speakers. Then there's ones that are just a premium. This is for a premium buyer, a person that buys I don't know, luxury goods, right? Okay, so if that is a fair price. It's a premium, but it's still a fair price. It's not gouging. If they consider it a value, okay, if we really want to get into this, value is perception. And everybody's perception is different. So if you perceive it as a value, that's all that fucking matters, okay? I'm more of a realist than like anything. So I look at the whole market sphere, what is being sold for what. I look at what goes into that build, how expensive are the raw materials, what's involved in accessing those raw materials and bringing them to the factory. Because in the case clearly of MDF, you can access it anywhere. You can get it at Home Depot. It's readily available. You can have it delivered today in container load quantity. Okay. But then there are the things that are hard to find. Slate. You have to go in the earth. You have to dig it out of the earth. You have to find good pieces. You have to find the good veins, all that stuff. So this all goes into the value process for me. Okay. I assess these out and then I bring the products that I think have the strong value. But value is only perception. It's just a perception. So, but in order to get my perception of value, I don't just pull it out of what does it compare to other things that are in this crazy, stupidly overpriced market, because I'm going to have a skewed idea of value now. And I might submit that is an intentional skewing of your value foundation principles. If I just keep making things, I keep making $1 million speakers, you're going to start to think 400 grand isn't too bad if you compare it with the other things in the market, like you're pointing out here. Well, compared to $1 million speakers, $400,000 speakers is a really good value. So it's a great way for me to manipulate market perception, and people's perception is to just continue making hyperly overpriced things so that my $400,000 stuff, $400,000 pressed particle board sprayed things seem like a good value, because I've desensitized you by showing you $1 million speakers. So this is what I'm standing out against. I'm not sure if you understand why I'm taking this argument, but this is why. What you're arguing for is you're saying, well, in this market, everything's so expensive. The 400 grand could be a value when there's $1 million speakers. Or in this case, $160,000 could be a really good value when there's plenty of $400,000 speakers. I say the whole industry is fucked, and it's like totally not the whole industry, not everybody, but the high end of the industry is ridiculous. It has run away from the norm. Okay, I've been in this 30 years doing this, exhibiting and in the inside, right? So I've seen these trends. There was a point in time, and I blame it on the people that won't pay. I blame it on the internet and the people that won't pay retail for anything. Okay, they drove the prices up because they were so they were trying to get one over on all the dealers because they could shop online. So all of a sudden, dealers become desperate because all of a sudden, holy shit, someone can ship them the speaker from a different state, because they can shop online. So all of a sudden, people are dropping trowel, and we've got Amazon with the lowest price shit. And it's like, who can be the lowest price whore, right? So to combat that in the hi-fi with these people, I think it was driven by the people that didn't want to pay retail. They just said, let's double everything. Because I saw a distinct point in time where everything doubled. Everything, it used to be $100,000 speaker was of the Focal Grande Utopia. You couldn't get anything bigger or better or crazier, and it was 100 grand. All of a sudden, they're $1 million. Everything went fucking bonkers with the price. And it's non-realistic price. They're non-reality prices. Nobody's paying them anyways because they're meant to make the other things seem palatable. And they sell at half price if they even do sell, So it's like it's and again, I don't want to use the same terms, but it's jackery. It's like it's a game that's being played. It's each person trying to get one up on the next guy. The buyer is trying to get one up by only paying a discount, only paying 30 points off. I won't buy from you. I'll bring my business elsewhere. The other guy tells me he's going to give me 30 points off. So I want you to give me 35 points off. They play this game like they're big dicking us, right? As sellers. And the desperate sellers will sell to them when they get dicked around. They'll make 30 point because they're desperate to keep their high overhead stores in business, right? I don't have a high overhead store. I have zero extra overhead in my life from having an audio store. Okay. It's the same overhead. Okay. So I don't have to gouge. So I'm a channel for you guys to a distributor level pricing that doesn't have crazy overhead. So it allows me to share the spoils with you. If I was a typical dealer, I would, or distributor, I would pad the prices I get because I get distributor level pricing because I buy $100,000 at a time, so I get distributor level, and then, but I don't pad it. Someday people will get it, and I won't be able to keep things like, they got it finally with the playback designs, and I can't get enough. People want more than I can provide. The company is sold out. I buy everything that they can make. They have to try and split it up. I'm like, they won't, thank God they won't put any other dealers on right now. But I'm like, dude, don't be assholes. If you put any other dealers, I'm just going to buy all their shit and they're never going to be able to get MPD8 because I will buy everything you can make and you won't be able to supply it to them. So it gets like that. But anyways, so the value to me it can't just be compared to other shit in the market, because if our market is on crack, then it's not a value. All we're doing is valuing, a super pure crack rock to a half pure crack rock, but it's both crack, right? And then there's, no drugs. So I have to take things into consideration, such as raw materials, where that raw material comes from, how expensive the raw material is, what goes into the building process. Do they use just a regular standard $100,000 CNC, or do they use $1 million vacuum press, high frequency, hot? You got to take all this shit into consideration. Then that helps you determine the value, or if it's being overpriced. I don't care if it's made out of dog shit, as long as they sound better and don't smell. You're a perfect customer then, bro. I want to sell you something. You know, great, dude. If everybody was like you, we would all be rich as hell. We would all be rich as hell, all of us. So we need more customers like you. Call me up, dude. I'll hook you up and I'll actually give you a value. Hi, Mikey. I talked to you about a month ago about purchasing 770s. They sold, brother. How the heck do you move around 350 speaker for placement? You walk it, dude. You don't slide it. It's on ball bearings, on tips. You walk it. You walk. It's totally easy. I can move a 300-pound. My girlfriend can move a 300-pound speaker. Okay. You don't have to pick the fucker up and move it. You know, you just, you walk it. You just lean it on one end on to put all the weight on one toe, and then you rotate it, and then put all the weight on that back toe, and then rotate it. And the bottom feet of those things are ball bearings, you know, so they can pivot. You know, you pivot the thing and you walk it. It's extremely easy. And the 770 is in three pieces. So the 770 is a little harder. And if you're asking, well, how do I do that? Then if you've got something like as big as the 770 or heavier, then you put wheels on the bottom and you push it around. You know, you put casters on the bottom. It's really easy. The casters go into the same threads as the feet, because on a 770, you're right, you can't walk the 770. You'd have to take the top thing off. And then how we did, now, if you do have carpet, here's another thing that I completely forgot. Those ball bearing feet go into discs, okay, these footers that are aluminum, and then they provide sliders. I totally forgot about this because I don't use them. But you can put these plastic furniture sliders and stick them to the disc, and then you can slide shit around. So they do come with sliders. Can I email you my room pictures to discuss Fisher and Fisher speakers? Of course you can. Yeah, you can text them to me too. Just go to 11 Stereo. Contact me through 11 Stereo, and I can help you choose the proper ones for your room. And I will guarantee you that they will absolutely blow your mind. They won't just work. Like, you know, a lot of things that's DOA, guaranteed against DOA. That is such a foolish thing to say, guaranteed against DOA. It's like, if you don't guarantee it against DOA, it's fraud. So you're giving me a default given that it's going to be guaranteed against DOA. That's a given. That's not a feature. That's not a benefit. But you guys read it, guaranteed against DOA, and you don't even stop to pull that apart and think of how stupid do they fucking think I am? They're giving me guaranteed against DOA. I want to punch you in the trunks, bro. You know, it's like, of course it's guaranteed. That means you're telling me you're not going to send me a broken piece? Like, and that's people are chewing their cud like a farting cow, man. They don't wake up. They need to, you know, that's why the slap sometimes and the words. It's like to give you something that you will remember, shock you into remembering this stuff. You can give it a fancy name all you want. It's still a port, and it's not going to be good against the wall or mid-range. Guess what? I don't give a fuck. Most of these high-end buyers, this is, so you say, let's drop it, and then you want to fucking fight more. You want to fucking keep fighting, dude? You know, drop it. Did you say we're dropping it or not? You know, fucking these motherfuckers, like, dude, give me a fucking break, dude. You know? Jesus fucking Christ. You want me to put them up against the fucking wall and make them sound good and show you that you're fucking wrong? You don't have fucking Fisher and Fisher speakers, dude. You're sitting there fucking speculating based on the shit that you know from the shit that you've tried, which is not fucking Fisher and Fisher. So shut up. You know, Jesus fucking Christ. You know, you said you wanted to drop it. Now you want to fight again. Bad fucking choice, dude. Most of these high-end buyers want to impress. That is a lot. That's a whole other buying thing. You know, it's a whole other buying thing is buying to impress. That and there's nothing wrong with that either, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, it's a different reason for fucking buying, you know, and it's valid. People buy for that reason. So, you know, if you want to engage in that, I'm just not into that kind of thing. There's huge value in DIY speakers in my experience. Much better drivers, building materials, and crossover network components for a fraction of the price. Much better building materials? Okay, is there a DIY slate speaker? Is there a DIY aluminum speaker? I don't think so. I think the building materials are shit. Better drivers, possibly. Building materials, tell me what better building material you got. I would argue that. Crossover network components, I would agree with that. Yep. For a fraction of the price, abso-fucking-lutely. Why? Because you got to put it together. You got to be a damn woodworker. Unless you know what the hell you're doing, you're going to make it look like a DIY piece of shit, because that's what these things look like half the time. I used to do that. I didn't care. All I wanted was the sound, and I would have DIY ass looking shit in my room. It was ridiculous. Guess what happens to that stuff when you pass on in your next of kin? It gets thrown out. It doesn't even get sold. It gets chucked because they look at it and go, oh, what's this shit? It looks like a piece of shit. So, but I get what you're saying. DIY is, you can already tell I'm a little fucking I've still got the fight in me from people here causing me agita. But yes, you can a lot of times do better with especially open baffle kits, or if you're a woodworker. If you are a bona fide journeyman woodworker, then hell yeah, DIY, you can do some kick-ass shit, bro. But you better have the tools, you better have the finishing equipment, you better know how to put a finish on, you better know how to do all that stuff. If you know all that stuff, then go for it, build your own. I personally don't have the time anymore. I used to have that kind of time. I don't even change my own oil. I'll go pay somebody $100 to change my oil. I'm not going to do it. I'm not getting under the car to save $50. I'm just not there. So, but in many ways, it's a good way to learn about speakers too. When you build them, you really appreciate what goes into them. Try building a box out of wood and sealing it and making it look good. Just try that. Make your wife a jewelry box. Make a fucking box that's sealed just 4 things. Put them all together and try and make it look good and be sealed. And then you'll have an appreciation for what goes into these cabinets, because some of these cabinets are really, you're like, holy shit. And Tad is one that has sick cabinets. I've never seen cabinets that beautiful. Definitely not like most ultra high-end buyer. Yeah, we know that, buddy. What does it cost to replace those big nat tubes? $1,000 a tube. Is slate the best material for the best material of all for speakers? I guess there's no need for any internal bracing with slate. Correct. And I think so. Yeah. So some people, it's a personal preference, if I think it's the best material for speakers. I've compared a lot of speakers. I think it sounds phenomenal. I've also heard very good MDF speakers, but the MDF speakers that I've heard that sound as good as the like these $25,000 Fishers were $45,000 Rockports, and the guy needed 4 JL Audio huge Fathom subs, So I don't know how much another expensive DIY is rewarding hobby. But if you think you can make better speakers than brands' flagship speakers, then you should start your own brand. Yeah, not trying to convince others otherwise. Yeah, for sure. I mean, try it. That's all I say is go try it. I mean, I tried doing that, and I tried making speakers. I remember the first shot. Did I have somebody make that wood box? I think I did. I was like, no way. I actually tried. I didn't let somebody else do all the math, and it was a train wreck, Then I hired people to do all the math and everything for me. But yeah, DIY is a fun exploration, and it actually helps you value the stuff that's made. You're like, damn, a lot goes in. This is harder than I thought. I mean, people just, it's just a box with a driver. You're like, right. Do you have certain brands of isolation feed for speakers you have used? Yes. Live Vibe, LIVE, Live Vibe Audio, made in America, brass. Which ones would you recommend? Right there, Live Vibe Audio. And I got to go, man. 3 hours and 8 minutes. What the hell is wrong with me? I can't believe I went 3 hours. Dude. Somehow 3 hours, I lost 3 hours of my life. And this is like listening to my audio system. I got to go, you guys. But anyways, hope you enjoyed the freaking 3 hours of live stream. And I'll be back next week. I'll be back on Sunday. I do this every Sunday and every Wednesday. So thanks for joining and appreciate it. And y'all have a good evening. See you. See you next.